So welcome back to Talking Neat. I am here today with special guests Nick and Blake from Joyous Wolf.
Hey,
How you guys doing?
Good.
pretty good, man.
We're good.
Long trip in?
Yeah.
No, we're used to like 15 to 30-hour drives,
Yeah,
so
so
a 40-minute drive up the freeway isn't too bad.
Like even LA traffic doesn't even phase me anymore.
Yeah.
Sitting in a car
That-
for 30 hours, you're just like, you learn to be patient. Yeah. You'll get there eventually as long as you just keep falling asleep at random parts of the day. 36 hours goes by in a flash.
My bladder's still as bad though.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
It's not a,
Yeah,
it's,
lot of pit stops.
oh yeah.
just for me especially.
You're the
There
one.
will be
I'm
times where
always
it's
the guy
just
like
for you.
every 45 minutes. Like, I can't even stay hydrated.
45 minutes?
No, it's not that bad. But I mean-
That would be incredible.
Like at that point,
So
just
now
get
that
some
your body-
diapers or
yeah.
something.
A catheter.
It would have to get to that point eventually.
Hey guys, my catheter bag's full.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Just pour it out the window.
He's got multiple ones. He's just putting like, all
You're-
right, sealing them up, and
You're sitting in the back of the van. The guy next to you's like, oh shit,
Pretty
hanging
much.
it out the window.
Yeah, not too far off.
we're all I made jokes that like we should just install like a pipe, like a little funnel pipe, and just like in the van, and just like leave to the outside. Say to people, man, that car is leaking a lot.
Yeah, we could still have a toilet. Just have to do it.
Isn't that what Dave Matthews Band was doing?
I don't know.
Was it?
Not that bad, but they were going over they were on a bridge in New York, and the tour bus driver decided to like release the toilet, all the sewage, into the bay, and there was a sightseeing boat directly under them, hit everyone. They were all covered in shit.
Oh my god.
It was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and the band had to, I mean, obviously, because they broke the law, they apologized up
Yeah.
and down. God, I hope I got the right band. And they invited everyone on the like sightseeing boat to the show and all that. But it's like, would you want to go to a show after you just got shit on by this band?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know what you ate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Smell like it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's too bad.
Yeah,
had to stop at like a freaking Pilot or something and shower.
I know.
Not a whole lot of options when you're like out in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
As far as showers, like either Planet Fitness or
Or sink.
or a sink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby wipes.
Yeah. You should invest in that more often. You're not clean. You're sanitized, but you know it's not quite
And
clean.
you smell like a baby's butt.
Yeah, and ass. You smell like ass mixed with sanitation wipes.
Yeah.
Life on the road.
Yeah, very much so.
Never can get your clothes clean.
Yeah, we do
Very.
pretty good at that. I think,
Yeah, it seems the theme so far is trying to stretch it as far as we possibly can before laundry day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I learned really quick about interviewing bands. If you're in like really tight confines when they're on the road, want to take a couple steps back, or hey, how about we go outside?
Or
and do
yeah,
this
or at least
interview?
just not do it in their van
Yeah.
because chances are it smells terrible.
Yeah.
No. Been to. Was that what was it that Robert said? Or Trevor, he said something funny. It was about like we were talking about forgetting things, and it's like, oh man, we forgot the van. As if like somehow we just started walking with all this stuff. And we're
Yeah.
like, something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my superpower is forgetting things.
He will lose. his
You're
phone.
like the fuck up in the band.
Well,
One of four.
Everyone's got their own.
Their own
own-
foibles.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's just
Own
funnier. 'cause it
Horrible,
happens.
horrible flaws. Yeah.
Is that one of the great things about going out on the road? You quickly discover everyone's.
I don't know if it's great, but it happens. You know, it's like you get a better understanding for a person.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like we had never been together that long when we first went out, about a year ago when we first went out for our first little run, and it was like we're really gonna have to live together. This is gonna be weird. It's gonna be different. You know, spending like 6 hours was normal, but then it's like, oh, we're gonna be together all day.
Yeah,
all
but we
night.
were all surprised at how
Easy it was.
easy it really was. Yeah, the hardest part, honestly, is like all being together in that confine of a space, and like having 3 days off. Like that sounds like a nightmare to me. Like, we need to be constantly doing something
Yeah.
to keep our minds busy. So we're like, all right, we're doing something. We're either driving, we're playing a show, or like we're doing an interview. But just like having 3 days off is like terrifying to me. I don't know.
We got pretty lucky where we were in Wisconsin. Our TM, golly, he called like the local like I don't know what it was called. It's like a Dave and Buster's type of place, you know, where they have all the
Oh,
like you know,
Games,
laser
adult
tag,
video.
yeah,
arcade,
and go karts and stuff, you know. And he just called them. We were playing a festival there, and he just said we were on the festival, and like, oh yeah, they can come play. Everything's free. And we're like,
What?
wow, we actually get to go do something fun, you know, like
yeah,
yeah.
it was weird. Actually, being able to do something like that was like with the
Yeah.
day off,
Yeah.
not just sleep in a hotel room. It's
Yeah.
like, oh hey.
There's plenty of times where we get like just kind of confine ourselves to a Marriott and just don't leave.
Yeah, like we get that one day off. We're like,
Yeah.
all right, no one's leaving the hotel
Yeah, we're
room.
all just gonna lay on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty much the construct of road life for us so far. Is either
Road
you're
life.
in the van all the time, or you're in a hotel room, or you're playing shows. And
Playing
show-
shows is like 0.5% of it. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
only like half an hour, you know.
Yeah, half an hour to
45
45 minutes of the entire day getting there, or the day before, or whatever. And
It's pretty funny.
You know.
That's how it was for me. I wanted to kind of get into rock journalism, and so I bought into the Ozfest tour back in the '90s and bought a bunk on one of the band's buses.
No way.
And so it was supposed to be for 4 weeks. I was going to be on the road, like with the band and writing everything down. Just
Wow.
the most boring time. I lasted probably 10 days.
See,
No way.
And after a day, I'm
Go
like,
home?
it got so bad. I was so depressed. I couldn't
Oh.
even write anything.
That's
It
not
was
bad.
just,
What?
I
Was
was,
the band just dull? Or was it just like
no, it was System of a Down. But I
What?
mean, this is like early on. But okay,
They were like one of my favorite bands.
yeah,
Wow.
and
That's
it's
lucky
just
you.
it's just I mean, you arrive. I mean, they'd go on early, usually around like 4 o'clock in the
You
afternoon.
think
So they
that's-
had to
you think
do.
that's early.
Well,
Yeah.
the sound check
We go-
for them
like,
was
at
about
some festivals
10.
we go on
Oh.
at 12:30. You know.
But for sound checks, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so I mean, we're just there, and I mean the band's doing their thing.
Right.
So I'm just
Exactly.
kinda
That's a lot
waiting.
of what it is. If you don't like have a slated role, like in that whole
Yeah.
machine,
Yeah.
it can be very boring
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, and so I was just like, I wanted out. I wanted.
So that probably after the course of 10 days, you were ready.
Yeah,
to
I
go.
enjoyed it, like on like days when we could, like while the festival was going on, those
Oh,
like
right.
8 hours were
Mhm.
fun, but everything up till that point, I hated.
That's what we don't understand. Like that is the reality. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the reality. It's been we learned. You know, now I think we're seasoned enough to be able to like to talk about it in that way because it really is a lot of mostly waiting. You know,
Mhm.
mostly waiting to get somewhere or to go on, and then you do, and you get that. It's like you have you have that euphoria at the end, which is different for you because you never got to go out and play the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Is like
Mhm.
that's what keeps you completely in it because you're
Yeah.
like, I get to go out there and I get to do this thing, which
Yeah.
is why I'm doing this in the first place. You're like wondering why am I doing this again? You know?
Yeah.
When you have like that was like the longest stint was like when we were on tour with Fozzy, right? We had like those couple of days, remember, or they were playing. We couldn't play in Ohio, so we had those like 3 days in that hotel.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and it was miserable. It was
Yeah.
pretty. I mean, it was fine because we were just, you know, kind of. We went to like a mall or something. That's
how bored we
yeah.
were. Yeah.
You know, we went and spent money.
Never in
And-
our right mind would we
Yeah.
ever go to a mall.
yeah, it's like, you know, for like, unless it's like to go buy a gift for Christmas or something,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
you know, 3 days was like an eternity because you just don't get that euphoria at the end of the,
Yeah,
at the
right.
nighttime, which is like, the last couple of, especially last tour, we were playing shows virtually every day, so like 3 weeks would
Yeah.
be gone
It's
and,
different.
you know,
Mhm.
it's amazing how fast time passes, you know, when you're having a good time.
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
when the other bands are really cool to hang out with too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But it's either that scenario like you were talking about, or you get hired and you're on like the crew and you have a daily job to do. You know,
Yeah,
just-
and then it's work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean-
But
So,
it's still fun though. Like I've never seen.
if you look at it, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen like a miserable merch guy. You know, he loves the band and he's having a good ass time. And he gets to go around and see the country and stuff. And you know, for some people, that's really all they want.
I've seen
Right.
miserable merch girls.
The
It's
merch
usually
girl-
the singer's
yeah,
girlfriend.
Yeah, the merch
Well,
girls.
see, then that,
Who's
then
only
there's-
only
Yeah.
there to make sure he's not fucking around with someone else.
just like
She's
sexy.
just
eyeing everybody that
Yeah.
walks
Yeah.
by. Yeah.
That sounds not fun.
Nope.
so we're starting out
Okay. Well, yeah.
because you guys were late,
We were very late. Yeah.
very late.
yeah, 2.5
I
hours.
got to get rid of this. Hopefully you guys like it. It's Sonoma County's cherrywood rye. So they take rye, throw it in cherrywood barrels, and it sounds like it should. I think they were going for like a Manhattan.
Nice.
It sounds nice.
I like Manhattans. Yeah.
It sounds.
It
Yeah.
sounds
Why are you saying
okay.
It sounds.
So
What do you mean?
try it.
Oh, I don't like that.
makes
No,
sense.
it's not. Okay, for me, I think it tastes like lacquer, like a cherrywood lacquer. Like
It smells like lager.
It
smells like a
definitely- yeah,
a cherrywood guitar lacquer. That
Yeah,
that smell
smell
like it
the
was
paint,
just
right?
yeah. And I'm not fond of this one, and I hate
it-
shitting on whiskeys, but
It tastes a lot better than it smells, honestly.
good. We're
I
yeah.
I think. No, I'm just saying. Like from what I can smell, like it's like very strong smelling, but then you taste it, it's actually got a lot of flavor to it.
It is very pungent. Like
It's very in your face.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's,
And I was
uh,
thinking something sweet, but
It is a little.
Right.
It does have a little.
it
bit
has
of
a little
sweetness,
cherry on it.
but it's more
Yes.
like it's kind of like when you have like a sugar-free candy. You know, it's like cherry flavor.
Yeah.
But it's not cherry flavor.
Yeah.
you feel a little let
yeah.
down.
Yeah. It's like fruit stripe gum.
Yeah.
Oh man, what
You're like,
you
yeah.
had so much potential. It's fine. We
That
don't
was
talk about
that fruit stripe is like your childhood was ruined.
Yeah.
That's like that one thing you look back on. I mean, it looks so colorful and it's
Oh yeah.
and
know
then you
what?
put it in your mouth and for the first 3 seconds you're just like in heaven and then it's like, what the fuck happened?
Exactly. It's exactly how you look at your teenage years to now. It's like, oh wow, this is awesome, and then it's over, and you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, there's got to be like the perfect metaphor for fruit stripe gum. I mean,
I'm
it's like
sure.
It's like.
Childhood ruin.
It's like
Yeah, pretty
There's
much.
like 3 things, like getting dumped for the first time and fruit stripe gum.
Yeah.
It's equates.
But you know the people at Fruit Stripe Gum, they've seen all the memes, they've seen like all the
They
complaints.
don't care.
How
they
come
don't
they?
give a fuck?
Because
No, they
it's
don't
it's
care.
one of those things. I mean, a business shouldn't be in business if it can't get repeat customers. I'll never buy that shit again. But I mean,
You will.
But
though.
somebody will.
You
you know?
will.
But
though.
yeah,
You
who's
say-
buying
you
it?
Say you won't.
I've
then-
never bought it more than like I bought it once. I had it once.
But- No, yeah, no, I was gonna say, but there are those gum addicts, I'm sure, that
Yeah.
love that 2 seconds and will buy pallets of it. for
but you
those
have to
2
go through.
seconds,
Yeah, you have to
know?
buy it by the pallet,
Like
and you're
eating
just
a bushel of apples and taking the first bite of every apple.
throwing it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like.
It's like there. Have you guys ever been to? I think San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my
They
favorite.
they have that
places.
one wall downtown
Yeah.
where people stick all the gum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like 2 feet away, they were putting fruit stripe gum in their mouth, and then they hit the
That's
wall,
how
and
they
they're
made
just
it.
like
It's all
That's
that.
how they
fruit
made
stripe.
the
It's all
wall.
fruit stripe.
It makes total sense.
And you could just go lick the whole wall,
Oh,
get the whole
God.
flavor
Yeah.
of the wall.
God, man.
Couldn't pay me. I don't. Like I hate shit like that. That's it. That actually truly grosses me out.
Yeah, it's like.
But it's
gross
actually a
out.
landmark. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
look
know,
up
it is.
like
Stuff
San
like
Luis
that
Obispo,
is.
It's
stuff to do in
cool.
San Luis Obispo,
I
and
didn't
that
think
comes
it's
up.
crazy.
It's like, that's what your town's
Like,
famous
Yeah.
for.
Really?
You're known for.
There's so many other cool
apples,
things to do in San Luis Obispo besides lick a gum wall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apples, gum wall, college parties. Done. That's it. That's
Yeah,
what you got.
you go
in San Luis
wine
Obispo.
tasting.
But what did you think about 1 to 10? We're gonna do a grading. Do you have a grading system
We usually kind of grade them at the
at
end.
the end?
Oh, cool.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll save my answer.
once you
I'll
kind
save
of-
it then,
But
yeah.
Put it away for later.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can talk about it.
No,
We need like a spittoon.
I agree.
Spit
You know
taste.
what?
Because if we taste all these,
You know,
we're already...
the worst introduction I think you could probably do is be like, yeah, I need to get rid of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
right.
I was just like, this
That's
is
what
it.
we-
You're
that's what
not
we do.
making this
Yeah.
appetizing. You know, like,
Well, a couple weeks
because
ago,
honestly, I'm not really down, not truly down for that one.
a couple weeks ago,
Even you dump it.
See, I understand. I understand.
we opened Cold Cock, and I can't stand that stuff either.
You know,
They're not a
I-
sponsor of
I've-
yours, right?
no,
Cold
but
cock. It's
Okay.
already unpleasant.
Yeah.
it already is.
Yeah.
But I've seen that so many, like in so many places. They're a big promoter. Like they have a lot of
Music.
promotion.
Yeah.
Here's a question: what's your favorite like commercial one? Like the one like, are you like a
You know what? I used to. I mean, my go-to was always Jack.
yeah.
Yeah.
Until I like started drinking whiskey,
Yeah.
Mm.
and then I was like,
We
holy
gotta
shit,
hook
Jack
you up
is
with a
just
guy that we
not
know.
good.
We were actually talking about him on the way over here. There's a guy named Fred Minchin, I think, and he is a bourbon. He's like a bourbon. He's like the future of bourbon. Like the guy has brought bourbon to like the wine or wino level, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
It's not like super fancy,
Yeah.
fancy or anything like that,
Yeah.
but he's just like doing it.
Dude, hook-
he's pretty fancy himself.
He is,
Yeah,
but the way he's
yes.
doing it isn't very
Fred,
like high.
Shout out to Fred.
Yeah.
You're awesome. We still love you, man. It was so cool. We Angels Envy. You ever seen?
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yeah, Angels
Great
Envy.
bourbon.
They gave us a free bottle that was custom for us. It had our logo on it.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was
So cool.
really cool. Yeah, we gotta introduce you. All,
Yeah, definitely.
all pass you
On
through.
Tuesday, I have
Yeah.
a guy flying in from Kentucky,
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
and he just
Is his name Fred? I'm just kidding.
no, Eric
It'd be amazing.
Brinoff.
All right.
Brinoff.
Maybe they know each other. It's a pretty.
Well, he just did a documentary on Kentucky bourbon,
Yeah.
Nice.
and it came out last week, and so
Did you hear about that famous distiller who passed away recently? His name, I forget his name.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was a joke.
The-
It sounded like a setup. to
Oh, for a joke, yeah.
Oh,
So how many
like he
distillers
passed
does it
away
take
or-
to change a light bulb? Oh, what no, go on. I want to know what you thought the punchline was going to be.
No, I just thought I was thinking of the Italian.
Well, we can
one.
design one. We can
No,
write.
it's-
Yeah, his
We're gonna start
family's like
writing
hanging
jokes
on right now.
instead
They want to hear this.
Ah, it's okay.
We'll start writing jokes instead of writing songs. I think
Yeah, that'd be just as bad.
Well, that's a sad life. Being a comedian.
Right.
I mean, that's
Some people kill it, though.
If you get it right, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, like our favorite, like this is comedy. Like I love comedy. I love stand-up comedy. I think it's like probably my favorite form of like my like alone time entertainment is just watching
Yeah,
stand-up.
like you watch like the old Dave Chappelle stand-ups.
Yeah.
Those are like legendary. Those are
hysterical.
Gold.
You know, like there's so many different kinds of stand-up comics now. Like there's like every possible variant. You know.
Yeah, as soon as like Flight of the Conchords happened, it was like
Oh yeah,
everything
now
started-
everything can be
Yeah.
funny. you know?
Yeah.
And like then the Tenacious D, obviously, you know, or
That's
rock
so
music.
amazing.
The fact that they headline rock festivals in like
I
Europe
know.
and stuff is hysterical. To me.
Badass.
And a whole crowd of 90,000 people strong knows the words to tribute, and it's like that's so
And the whole
funny.
movie, too,
yeah,
you know?
Pick of Destiny.
well, I mean, Steel Panther. They're basically a comedy act.
That's
Totally.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
seen
they
that.
absolutely
more so when they were middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But they're still doing that whole thing, and it's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. I remember I watched them side stage. Were you there when we did?
No, it was you and Greg.
Yeah, me and
Yeah.
Greg watched them side
bass player.
stage at Aftershock
yeah.
Festival, and it was so funny because so many people thought that like these things were real. They thought there was actually this like half naked girl at this festival dressed like this, and that she was really just some stranger from the crowd
Yeah.
who whipped her chest out in front of the crowd. And I'm like, at the end, we all watch them walk away with these people, like they're like, you know, like they're all like a little group, and I'm like, everyone over here is like, oh my god, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah, they're right there.
Yeah, it wasn't a chance.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, guys. you
When
know.
they were at the Key Club in House of Blues, still like a local band,
Yeah.
I was their photographer. So every show they ever did, I
Oh
had
my
to be
God.
at. So for like three and a
You've had
half
an
years.
You've had an interesting
Yeah.
career,
That's
haven't you?
awesome.
For like 3.5 years, I went to every single show, and it's the
Oh my
same jokes.
So then you definitely. so then.
God,
So then
for
you
years.
definitely know how
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And there were times I'm like mouthing the joke that's gonna come out.
Oh, like it's an old rerun you've just seen like
Yeah.
an episode of.
Oh man, that must have been
That's awesome.
laborious after a while. I'm sure.
You know what? I still enjoyed it. I never
Yeah. Was there-
cared. I mean, it was like a party.
Yeah.
It-
I
That's
mean,
what
there
it
was
seems
something.
like,
The
yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans made it really cool.
Yeah,
This is fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. You know,
Totally.
it's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
time. It's again, it's an interesting aspect of like, you know, because I'm all about poking fun at everything. You know, I think
Mhm.
me and the rest of the guys are, nothing is off limits. So
Yeah, it's just that particular moment in history is
Yeah.
funny, and to see that it's like taboo in that sort of like way is pretty weird.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was. I was so pissed. My first time, I was hired by the Key Club to shoot them at first before they started using me, and so I'm just like in the crowd and stuff, and they started just ripping into me, like making me part of the show, just humiliating.
oh.
So I've never seen this band before, and I
Yeah.
was pissed. And so at one point, I just started walking away like this, and I started,
man.
and one of the bouncers goes, "Dude, we paid you for the whole the whole set." And I'm
Right.
like, "Fuck them, they don't want me here." And he goes, "No, it's the show." And I'm like, "Oh." And they're going, "They do that to everyone. They'll do it to me too." And I'm like, "Okay."
Exactly.
I don't know. Like I feel like some people I've talked to about that have like a weird opinion about comedy rock or comedy music in general. It's like, oh, I just feel like it's weird that they're intermixing, and I'm like, it's all. I mean, it's
It's entertainment.
It's you're there to be. I mean, for these people, for the grand spectrum, is like laughing. To me, is like the funny, is like the best kind of entertainment. When you're laughing, it's just like you're happy, you know. And there's different kinds of things. I mean, who cares? Who cares what the content is? As long as it's, you know, for whatever it is, it's a good form of that, you know.
Yeah, plus if it's already obviously what it's trying to be, like if it's already obviously an act, then it's not trying to be anything else.
Yeah, it's not like they're
take it
taking
at face
themselves
value.
seriously.
Well,
If that was happening, then I'd feel a little like
Yeah, like if the guys from
strange.
Steel Panther put on the show that they did and were like trying to be super tough and serious about it, I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
that's-
Well, they just over the summer released a guitar pedal
I saw that.
called the Pussy Melter
Pussy
or
Melter.
something.
Yeah.
And
there's a
women's groups started protesting it.
there's a
The
petition-
company that
Yeah.
like made the pedal dropped it. Said no, we're not going to produce anymore because we're getting all this heat. And it's like, I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from, but it's Steel Panther. You kind of gotta.
I mean,
And then they
it's
came
a
out with it
expect
anyway.
it. Yeah.
it's a joke band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
But they can
joke.
actually play.
I mean,
Yeah.
which is,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
they're
that's right.
amazing.
And we can
Yeah.
we make fun of like we make fun of dicks all the time. Like why does it matter? You know, like they literally like dicks are so embedded into humanity that if a dude is an asshole, besides being an asshole, oh, that dude's a dick. You know, it's a negative thing. But we don't like. I find that strange. I find it weird. Don't you find that weird? I don't understand why people would have such a problem with.
Yeah, I think just give it a couple of years, everybody will get over it. That's usually what it takes.
It's just kind of true. There's always
Short attention span.
yeah.
Pretty much. Like, what's the next thing to get mad at? Okay, this is it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So moving on.
All right, we got it.
Lead the way.
Oh, we got a-
Is this one you're more welcome to?
Yeah, I love this
Okay.
one. So this is also a rye. This is Few. They're out of Chicago,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
Evanston, a little
Okay.
south of Chicago.
Mm.
And basically, they got their name. There was the Prohibition and all that.
Yeah.
Before Prohibition was the temperance movement, which is just kind of like a public shaming of people who are drinking.
Oh.
And so it was like this, a church in Evanston, and the pastor's wife would just get a bunch of friends together, and they'd go out to the local bar and shame everyone for drinking. I mean,
Wow.
every once in a while you'll see like church groups go to the strip clubs and take pictures of every. I mean, it was the same.
God.
But she got so big, she got a meeting with President Hayes at the time.
Wow.
Jefferson Davis's wife. She got a meeting with her, and
Okay.
Jefferson Davis's wife, I think her name was Viola, joined the movement.
Wow.
And it led eventually into prohibition. They got like enough states.
You all know how well
Jeez.
that turned
And
out.
her
Oh,
name
yeah.
was Frances Elizabeth Willard. And so they took her initials, created a whole
Oh.
whiskey out of it in honor of.
Interesting. What an interesting history.
Yeah, and so I
Wow.
love the history of this one. And it helps that it's really good.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know, I used to be a server in a restaurant, and so I remember there was this gentleman that I worked with, and he's from Chicago, and he told me that there was a story about there was a drink named after this bartender from Chicago who would like drug people's drinks and then drag them out in the back alley, beat them up, take their money, and then they wouldn't remember what happened because.
Is that why you got into bartending?
Oh, exactly. That was my patent.
And
now.
that was the beginning.
But somebody finally found out eventually, obviously. But I can't
About you
remember-
or him?
Oh, about him.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
been-
About him, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
hasn't been caught yet. This is way
Well, this
way
smells-
less intense.
Yeah, this smells really sweet.
There's like a tartness to this.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the rye kicking in.
It's really
Mm.
I like that. That's so much nicer than whatever.
Mm.
No, whoever made that bottle, I'm sorry.
No
Good try.
offense.
Good try.
And both of these companies
again.
started in 2010.
Really?
So they
Oh, so not a lot of time to age either.
not a lot of time, but I mean when you're putting your whiskey in like a cherry barrel, I don't think you need that much age on it, or else
Well, if
it's
you
gonna.
got that much flavor from it, probably not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tastes like
and
the
I mean
barrel.
it picks
Yeah.
up the color too.
Not wine, you know.
Mhm.
You can leave wine in a barrel for a year, for like a decade if you want, you know, like
Yeah, sometimes they
yeah,
do.
yeah. So I mean,
And this is from Sonoma. I mean, kudos to them for not using
Yeah.
wine barrels or anything.
Yeah.
They went with
Yeah,
new barrels. So.
yeah.
that's awesome.
I really like this a lot better though.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'm probably
So we're
gonna
not
take-
dumping this one into Santa.
Yeah, I think so. Only gonna take one sip, so I'll be okay.
I got to be careful because I'm a supreme lightweight. Like, dude, I'm not even like you can vouch for me on that.
Oh, it's pretty funny.
It's horrible.
Oh, I don't think you ever answered a question. What was your go-to whiskey if you go to if you go
Oh,
to
yeah.
a bar, just stock? If
Yeah, you
most
know what?
places don't have
I love Oban.
Yeah.
I mean, and most bars will have that one.
Mm.
I mean, like you mentioned, you would upsell that one. I like
Yeah.
Scotch.
it. Nice.
So, and that's kind of what got me started. I'm starting to like bourbon a little bit more.
Nice.
Rye is probably at the bottom of my list.
Same.
But I've never been a fan of like Jameson too much or Jack, or I hate Crown.
I've never had Crown before.
Not a
Crown
Jameson
Royal.
guy either.
Mm. Yeah, Jameson's okay. Yeah,
I-
Jack's better than Jameson.
I
in my
don't
opinion.
I don't like Irish whiskey,
Really.
and I don't like Canadian whiskey.
I've never had Canadian.
Never had
whiskey.
Canadian whiskey.
Crown Royal is,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
oh.
I think, Seagram's.
Oh
I think
wow!
it is,
Never mind. I
uh,
guess I have had this.
I mean, I'm naming their shittiest ones.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
I'm sure.
obviously,
yeah.
then you're a straight whiskey guy. You're just a whiskey drinker. That's just.
I've
You like
over
Indian-
the last like 3 years, I've been becoming
Mostly.
more and more of
Mm.
one. I used to do a lot of wine
Yeah,
Nice.
stuff.
that's pretty much where I like wine because wine drunk's easy drunk. You know.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling,
Every other
yeah.
drunk is just like is the bad.
You look
time.
pretty classy when you're drinking wine too, getting drunk.
You do look very classy.
There's a
you know?
fine
It
line
could- it could be a-
between self-righteous and classy.
Yeah.
But wine's definitely on the border
Self-righteous.
there.
I mean, dude,
I'm
if
just
it's a $10 chuck, dude, then you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, see, when my wife and I started like originally dating, like a nice bottle of wine for us was like a $10 bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
There
like
you
special
go.
occasion.
Yeah.
And then we started going to wineries, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
shit,
no,
every
you
bottle's
ruined
40
yourself.
bucks.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to like, we finally started going to Napa like 3-4 times a year.
Man,
And the
good.
cheapest
Wow.
bottle you can find up there is $80.
Yeah, it's nice.
And so we have like a whole wine cellar at home.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And we got last Friday Little Caesars pizza. And my wife is going, well, I think I'm going to open a bottle of Pinot to go, I want wine. I'm like, you're having a $5 pizza.
That was a freaking
She-
college junior commercial that I remember when I was.
Yeah, she grabs a $120 bottle of Pinot. And I said, no. I said, and
my
she goes,
heart.
well, find me a cheaper bottle. I'm like,
Oh my God.
no, you just don't drink.
Exactly.
I said, you
Drink
never.
tap water,
yeah,
that
I'm like,
$5 pizza.
I said, that's why we got Mountain Dew. And she goes, I don't want soda. I'm like, she's going, it's Friday, I don't have to work. I'm like, no, we're not.
Oh man.
She did it right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, she did
There
it.
was this Carl's Jr. commercial I was a kid. It was like a mob boss, and it's like burger, fries, and a $10,000 bottle of Bordeaux. That was like it was like a $10,000 value meal or whatever.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I loved that commercial.
Wow.
Freaking yeah, I was gonna say like, are you like other liquor? Like, what do you?
I started with vodka, and then I was at a Mexican restaurant of all places, and the bar.
Tequila happened.
No, and the bartender goes, how come you like vodka? Because I was just drinking it straight. And I said, I don't know, I've always liked vodka. And she goes, well, you're not supposed to drink it straight. It's
Supposed
that
to.
we like the distillers
there's an
like
etiquette that
filter
you're not
everything
venturing
out
into.
of like all the flavor out of vodka, so you can mix it with stuff, and that
Right.
way it holds whatever flavor. And she goes, so it's not, she goes, here, try like a whiskey. And I was like, and she goes, whiskey, like, it's basically like vodka, except they don't distill the hell out of it. They don't take all the flavor out. They actually look for different, and I'm like, holy shit.
That's pretty
And
cool.
so, yeah, that's how I kind of got into it, from someone at Acapulco's.
There you go.
Nice.
Bartenders are the wisest. They're like the modern day shaman.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. They're sages. All
Yeah. Sages.
Sages.
They're creating tonics for you.
Pretty much.
You'll
yeah.
see things.
Try our
It makes you
elixir.
forget all your
Yes.
problems.
Yes.
It's true.
It's
and,
true,
and
yeah.
see things you've never seen before. Hallucinations. He actually tried moonshine for the first time.
That was scary.
Yeah, like real, oh, this was made by my cousin.
Like this was made in our backyard,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of a full mason jar
Yeah.
full of moonshine with their own brand on it, and yeah, I
wasn't down.
it was crazy because I've never tasted alcohol that was not tasting like alcohol before. If that makes any sense, like it tasted sweet.
It tastes like
candy.
ethanol almost.
Oh yeah, well you can smell it.
Yeah.
But it was totally masked by like vanilla flavoring and sweetness. But then you pour some out in the street and you light it on fire, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah.
That's the real was it? I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Do you remember where we were when that happened?
We were in Mississippi, weren't we?
No.
No,
it
wait,
was more Midwest than that.
No, we were in
Was it like?
was
Kentucky
or
was
Kansas?
was it after Kansas or before Kansas?
No, it was after.
Yeah,
Because it was that radio thing we did.
Yeah, no, we were in Illinois. The radio,
Really?
yeah, radio thing was in Illinois. We were in
Okay.
Dundee, Illinois. That's what it was. Dundee, yeah.
Apparently that's where the good moonshine was.
It's a good moonshine.
But I don't want
My
to go
cousin,
blind, so
my
I
cousin
followed
made
you.
it. I was like,
Literally said that.
my cousin made it. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys have fun. You drink that. I'm good.
Man.
I'm always skipping out on the
I
drink.
didn't want to be rude. I just wanted to. Oh, this is actually really good.
Oh yeah, you
And then-
didn't want to be rude.
I didn't
You
wanna be
accepted
rude.
it with open arms.
Exactly. And then after 5 sips, like tasting.
Oh, so you
sips,
just kept going back.
Yeah. Well, no, but it was like maybe this much.
Is it hard not to be, like, when you're offered a drink, like, you can't be rude and go, no.
I mean,
you got to drink it.
It totally depends.
For me, it's I don't accept it from complete strangers because I have a little bit of a paranoia. Like if it's like from one of the band guys, oh hey, I brought you a drink, then or like one of the road guys or something will bring me like a beer or something, then I'm down. But I have a really weird paranoia about like total strangers bringing me something to drink. I just don't. I don't like I don't like the idea that it's like I don't know this how if this person could be insane, you know, and could have put like could have poisoned my drink. I know it's like such a very like crazy thought, but really it's like I can't help it.
You know, Alice Cooper would never drink from the same can of beer. Like he'd take a sip, and then one of the road crew would have to come back out, and he didn't even trust them to open it. And then he'd open it on stage and take a sip, and then they'd take that beer away, bring him another one, and that's Alice Cooper was that paranoid. While he was on stage.
Well, you made me feel a lot better, like because I'm not that. If I spend some time with like some people or like so some folks at the show or whatever.
See, that's what I get you though. They lure you in.
Well, I'm talking about like when like it's like obvious. I'm like
yeah, that's what a stalker would do.
I suppose so. I don't know. It just can't be a total stranger. It just can't be like some random person, especially if they're really overly friendly. I don't know. I can't trust
Just
it for some
paranoid.
reason. Yeah. Can't trust it.
Shit, I'm getting worried now.
Yeah.
You're on to me.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that's usually.
Well, I guess we're taking this bottle out of the mix.
Why is everything
Yeah,
getting
it's
black?
not a good advertisement, but pretty much when anybody offers to buy it, the guys and I a drink, we'll pretty much take it.
Yeah.
As far as that goes,
I
unless
just-
we're at the drive.
Someone gave me a shot on stage. We played in LA a long time ago, and I just vowed
So
that I would
funny.
never do it again.
So funny.
Because I took a shot of whiskey on stage, and my stomach was just on fire.
No, that was
I was loaded.
talking about loaded. That was like tequila. I
Or
think.
was it?
It was something clear. Yeah.
I thought it was whiskey.
It was pretty funny though.
Freaking it burned my stomach so bad. The rest of the show, I was in tatters. Like I couldn't like perform anymore because my body was hurting so bad. Because I run around a lot on stage, so like the last thing you want to do is take a shot and go like exercise, like. So it was definitely ever since then I'm like I'm never gonna drink and be on stage again. Maybe a beer, something light, but never like something like
See, I
that.
think beer is heavy.
I mean like alcohol. Like
You mean like
content.
buzz wise?
Like,
Yeah.
alcohol, like a whole like they didn't. It wasn't like a shot. It was like one of those tall cups, little tall shot glasses, And it was like for me that's a lot. Like a quarter of a normal shot is enough to get me drunk. Think of it like that. Like that's how horrible it is being me. Like like
Cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Cheap date.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess you bring it up. You guys are in a band.
Yeah.
Guess we should talk about
Sometimes.
that. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I guess right now you're not in the band.
We're
Taking
technically
some
vacation.
Yeah, we're on time. We had our last show the other day.
Oh yeah, 2 days ago we opened up
Stone
Stone
Sour.
Sour.
Yeah, it was a great show.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
Had a blast.
We've met them a handful of times now, so it was familiar friends and everything. I'm gonna wait a little bit before I take a sip of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
can you believe that? Just what I've had those two or three little sips right now, and I am starting to feel light, and I'm like horrible.
Yeah, so this is Virginia Distillery. They take two different types of whiskey. One's from Scotland, so like a single malt Scotch, and then they throw it in a port barrel, finish it off. And so
It
it's
smells
a
really good.
little, yeah.
It smells smooth, if that makes sense. I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah,
smell
I mean
harsh.
there are a lot of whiskeys. I mean, this one I think smells very harsh.
Yeah, you put that in a car and get some
Yeah.
mileage out of it.
Well, that's the funny thing because I have some whiskeys up there that they call it cask strength because normal whiskey is like 45%, and cask strength is whatever comes out of the barrel. So every time they make another batch, it's a different content.
Oh, that's fun.
And so I think the one I have is like 69%.
Oh,
It actually says like 69.58% on the bottle.
kidding.
And it's like handwritten in.
We gotta get it right. It's gotta be scientifically
Yeah.
accurate.
Gotta round up and
Yeah.
And so it says like batch whatever because you'll never find that one again.
But
That's
whatever.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and so it's really cool when you get into like those.
It's like the
Smaller
lazy
distillery.
man
The anomalies.
distillery.
Yeah, and that's actually what they do. They it's a blend of 8 different whiskeys, and they just go around and
Holy shit. That's very powerful.
Oh,
That like goes through your sinuses and everything too.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
just a regular strength whiskey. It's not like a.
It tastes so different though.
It does taste
That's the
really
port.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a blend. It's
good. You say it's in a port barrel?
they finish it in port, like a port wine barrel,
Wow.
so it picks up a lot of those flavors.
That fills up like your whole mouth.
It does. Why does it feel
Wild.
like it? Does it feel like it's spreading in your mouth?
Totally.
Yeah,
like
it's super
through my
weird.
throat and my nose.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was saying, I get a joke to him earlier. I was like, so if anyone asks, like, so what are you doing today? Oh, I'm just gonna get drunk
At noon.
noon.
There, when I first started doing the show, I just figured, 'cause I got to drive home, pick up my kids, type thing.
Mhm.
So I started doing the show at like 9 in the morning,
Oh my god.
and that was just like it's like I'm finishing up my breakfast while
Yeah.
I'm like setting up the cameras, and like knock at the door and it's like start drinking 5 whiskeys.
Oh,
And then a couple days I'd have like the one at 9 in the morning, another at noon, and I
jeez.
was just like, oh shit,
That's
this is-
crazy. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna lie. Best breakfast in my mind is a big plate of steak and eggs and some whiskey. I mean, that sounds good to me. But
Steak and eggs, huh?
oh yeah,
Steak.
yeah. I mean, maybe a
Yeah.
few years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that still sounds pretty good to me.
So this is true. It's they're not good enough in you, and
Wow.
you're starting to. This is probably my favorite so far. I
It's
really
just so
like it.
different. Yeah. Really good. It'd probably be great to drink too.
Well, isn't that what you did?
Right.
You
Oh
did
my
drink
gosh,
it.
I did drink it. That'd be great if I like.
It wasn't osmosis.
It just beamed into your
Yeah.
stomach.
Yeah, just making your perfume.
That is honestly like that's the first whiskey I've ever tasted that I want to keep drinking.
Hmm.
I usually whiskey is like a it's
Whiskey's
like the
an
dare
acquired,
shore,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
isn't short.
Right.
When we drink whiskey, it's on New Year's, and we're like, it's time to. Yeah, you know, like it's like one of the only nights of the year where I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll fuck. Because usually we're like in an enclosed environment. My whole thing,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
scared of getting like smashed in like a place where like I can walk around, you know,
Mm.
like far away or something. Or
Are you like embarrassed of what you might do? Or
No, I just
how people will perceive you?
No, I think
You're probably just worried about the shenanigans you'll inadvertently get yourself into.
yeah, I think
That's pretty much what'll happen.
I think I just I've had some experiences in my life. Because it's funny, I did most of my drinking when I wasn't legal, so as most people.
That's the best time, too.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
best time.
it
to
is
do
because
yeah.
you're 21. You're like, woo.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I
You turn 21 and you're like, I'm kind of over this.
Yeah,
That's
by the time I
exactly how
got
it
there,
felt.
you know, yeah. I had some like blackout drunk days, like nights. I mean, where like it was bad and bad things happened, you know. So there's like this that's always gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I remember that one time. It's never like, oh, that time I got really drunk never ends in happy ending, you know.
Mhm.
It's always like something horrible happened, you know. So I'm like, probably best to not get super smashed in a place where like I don't have people watching over me, you know.
Probably the best.
You know, like, most of the time, whenever we drink, it's when we're playing like Mario Tennis,
Oh yeah.
and it's just the 4 of us.
We're huge video game nerds. I mean,
Yeah.
for like very certain
We're-
video
yeah.
games, you know.
I mean,
but-
you and I think, are the only true gamer pasts.
Yeah.
He and I were both World of Warcraft guys.
Like 6th grade.
Yeah, like
Okay.
in middle
Oh, yeah.
school, we were wasted many dollars and many hours playing.
Oh
World
yeah,
of
there's this
Warcraft.
place called Howie's Game Shack in the Kaleidoscope Mall,
Mhm.
and anybody even in Orange County will know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But in Mission Viejo, and we would just go there every day after high school, waste all of our money to do the same thing we could do at home, but for some reason around all
he
people.
was trying to undersell it earlier. That was 6th grade, and he's like, "Now you're in high school."
See,
you
don't- you
don't
don't-
tell them. You can't hide.
You don't need to
can't
be
hide
embarrassed.
from-
We actually have a game room in our house with, we're up to, I think, 14 cabinets
Oh my
of
gosh.
Here-
games. And it's all
Oh.
classic games. I mean, we've
Oh,
even
that's
got the
awesome.
sit-down driving, like Cruisin',
Oh hell yeah!
Really?
Exotica,
Oh nice.
and we've got the shooters. What do we have? Area 51 and,
Like the arcade games.
yeah,
Like, those
yeah,
are fucking
actual
Wow.
arcade games.
That's a really cool setup you have
And
there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to get back to my childhood.
No,
My
yeah.
Totally.
one of my daughters loves them. I mean, she's on them all the time. My other one, it's like you have to bribe her to pay practically.
Yeah. No,
No,
it's just
those are
different,
stupid. I'm not gonna play Donkey Kong.
Different,
I'm like,
Donkey
just
Kong's
different,
amazing.
different tastes.
I'm
you
like,
know.
look, I just got a new high score. You're wasting your time, Dad.
And then as she goes on
It's
to
like you sound like my mom.
you're wasting your time, and then she goes on to Instagram and scrolls for 3 hours, I'm sure.
Well, my youngest, it pisses me off because I'll spend all this time trying to get a high score, and I always put JAS in for the initials when I get a high score. So she went right under me, and so it says JAS fucks in the ass
Oh
on
my
on Donkey
God.
Kong. I'm like, God damn you!
Oh my God.
What the? I have it. I posted on I think Instagram. I put you know your kids are assholes when they do this. to
That's
your-"
Oh
absolute
my
no.
God.
That means you raised them right.
Brutal.
That means you raised them right.
They're ruthless,
I hope
yeah.
I hope my future offspring are that cool.
I know they'll stand a chance at least.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say about you talking about Howie's Game Shack is, or at the same time that we had not met until like about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
We met at an acoustic room in Guitar Center just on a whim, and I only met him that one time, and then until I didn't see him again until I asked him to come and jam and join a band
Like
with
6
me.
months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing was, we found out is he went to Howie's Game Shack at the Kaleidoscope Mall, and so did I. We went around the same time. So my theory is that he and I were very close, probably rose like he like
So you guys were playing different games.
no, we're playing,
No,
we're
the
both
same
playing
game.
World of
The
Warcraft.
same game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like joking, like, what if you saved me in a raid or something? And it was like playing the same dungeon.
So I used to go to arcades, and my games were. I used to play 720 a lot. I still can't walk by a Miss Pac-Man, and I cannot leave until I have the high score.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we had a date night about a month
Oh,
ago,
no.
and we're walking by, and there's a barber shop across the street from the restaurant we were at, like waiting at for our table. And I could see it, and I'm like, there's a Miss Pac-Man. She's like, come on, this is our date. I'm like,
Oh my God.
just 1 quarter. And she's going, no, because it takes you like half an hour. Because like every time I play Miss Pac-Man, I at least get up to like the 3rd level of Baby Pac-Man.
Wow.
And I mean, so no matter what, I mean, unless there's someone else like me, I'm getting the high score. And she's like, it takes half an hour for you to play.
I'm hoping like just one day
Wow.
you walk in, you're about to put the quarter in, and some other guys also about to put the quarter in. You guys lock eyes, and it's just like.
My wife hopes that one day some like little kid, because it pisses me off when kids are better than me. I can handle like
Yeah.
adults being better than me,
It's not fair.
but when like little kids are better than me, it
Yeah.
pisses me off.
The last
Yeah.
job I held down was as a chess teacher. I taught chess to middle school kids and stuff. And Robert, the drummer, also did that with me. And I thought I was pretty good at the game, you know. And so again, I'm the teacher, right? And there were these kids that were absolutely phenomenal, like that were stupid good, and they would destroy me, and I'd be like. Yeah, but the thing is, they're still kids though, so you can still mess with them, you know, and be like, they'll make a move, and I'll be like, and they'll be like, you know, that move would have won the game, so you could still like manipulate them into losing. So like, but it's true though, nothing's more annoying than when like a kid who's like 10 absolutely kicks your butt at something, you know, like.
Yeah, my daughter was laughing. I was playing, I think Madden 19
Oh, nice.
a couple nights ago, and for some reason this little kid's voice was coming through the TV speakers and not through my
gosh.
headphones. And so my daughter could hear this kid laugh. Like, I mean, his balls haven't even dropped yet. And he's just ripping, and he's killing me on the field. And my daughter's just sitting there just laughing at me. I'm like, fuck you. And she's like, you owe me $1. I'm like, we have if you curse in our house.
Swear jar.
Yeah, swear
There you
jar.
go.
Swear jar.
And so
How full is that jar?
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We did it because my kids started cursing a lot.
Oh.
Actually, my youngest started
That
cursing
phase.
a lot. Yeah, and she's 14, so
Oh.
It's
at
about-
that
it's about
age,
right.
right?
That's when the angst
You think
starts to
swear
set
words
in.
are pretty cool?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No one's ever used them before, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably not the best advocates for anti-swearing. I mean,
No.
I think every third word in like out of practice is like,
Mhm.
"Oh, what's that fucking thing you just fucking did?"
Makes
No.
us honest.
Yeah.
Keeps us honest at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any plans for getting back out on the road, or is
Oh,
it
yeah.
like riding?
We have a lot
Mhm.
happening that we just can't talk about yet, which is really
Annoying.
annoying.
Yeah.
You guys are like the best interview.
I know. We
Yeah.
came here like,
We-
yeah,
we
we
can't
do.
talk about it.
Can't talk about it though.
I can tell.
We're
I mean,
not-
all what we can say is that we'll be touring a lot, more, like way even double what we probably did this year, which is insane to think
Mhm.
about. Like
Your
it's-
tours, bigger tours.
yeah,
Both.
bigger, longer tours, bigger
Yeah.
Don't
tours.
just say yeah.
Not year-long tours.
No, like not
Yeah.
your. I mean, it'll probably feel like it. You know,
Yeah.
it'll probably feel like it's all connected. I think like.
Looking to get overseas, or
Yep.
Yeah, we are actually looking forward to that. Can't say where, or when, or how, or any of that yet, but
Or if, but we're looking
Yeah.
into it.
yeah, we're looking into it. Yeah.
overseas always means Europe. So
Yeah.
No, we want to be
We're
the
going to
first rock band
South
from America
Africa.
to play North Korea. We feel like that would go over.
Yeah.
really well.
I'm sure Metallica is like
Right
gonna
on that
do it
list.
because
Oh,
they
yeah.
got Antarctica.
Yeah.
They're the first band to do all 7
Oh.
continents.
Oh,
So
Yeah, that's what I thought.
they are
Yeah.
gonna.
Played a set in Antarctica. That sounds.
I saw that. I saw the coverage for that show. Looked awful. They were like freezing in a blizzard, and this band's playing in the middle of nowhere. It's so crazy that
Was
that
it
even
worth
happened.
it? Yeah, it was worth it.
So they can get the Guinness record.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, how long was their set? See, we'll go there and play a longer set.
Just do.
Yeah, and then we'll get through. But no, yeah, we're gonna do a lot of road next year.
Mhm. We've actually been writing a lot
Yeah.
lately. We're going in the studio soon to do some demos.
like next.
Oh, you guys are demoing it?
Demoing more. new
Demoing
stuff.
more, like
Yeah.
they're just whenever we have free time, they're just like, yeah, go do more,
Yeah.
And working with Howard Benson is a
Mhm.
pretty
Now,
big deal.
if I
Pretty big deal.
yeah,
Howard, you're such a big
I mean, Howard's been around since the '90s. I mean, he's done.
He's a
True.
good guy.
Actually,
Yeah,
I
every
think
band.
he's even older than that.
Yeah, I think
he's pretty old.
1920s. I think. Yeah. I think he did Louis Armstrong's first.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he do one of the Beatles albums?
Yeah, he did.
When he was
about
Yeah,
50?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when he was about 50.
God. Yeah,
Oh,
but he's
man.
been. I mean, he's won plenty of awards and has had great success since the '90s for sure.
He's done a lot of different stuff too.
Mhm.
I like.
But
that,
he usually. I'm trying to think of how to say this
Nicely.
without. Yeah.
You don't have to be nice.
I-
to
say
us,
it.
Say it.
I look at Howard Benson, and I mean he's produced some of my favorite albums,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but they're very polished.
Absolutely.
I mean, have you
yeah,
got?
but that was the style.
And
that-
yeah, it was the style in the
Oh,
2000s and
and
90s.
a lot
and
of
so-
what he's told us is that a lot of these bands wanted that.
Mhm.
Like he's told us stories
Yeah.
about band. Like he worked with Motorhead.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
and,
he didn't make them polished.
He didn't make
you
it.
know.
It's still
Yeah.
it's Motorhead.
How do you
Yeah.
polish?
Yeah, how do you
Exactly.
call it?
But yeah, it's like when
Hey
they-
Lemmy, do you think you can harmonize a little bit?
Yeah.
Let
like-
me, we're gonna put some auto tune on your
Yeah.
vocals.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Like.
The Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Freaking. He's done like Santana and
Yeah.
you look at the broad spectrum of the stuff he's done. He's done a little bit of everything. And did you hear Mississippi Queen or our song Slow Hand? Like we accomplished exactly what we wanted to do, and that's a very
And he produced those?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
is
he did.
that is as raw as that's we wanted it to sound exactly like we sound, and we didn't do any tricks or anything. What you get on there is literally probably what you're gonna hear live. So like
Totally. Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, to the point of Howard's repertoire, that's not exactly his vision. Like he's hired to do a job.
yeah.
And he does what's needed to be done.
But he knew that doing it. For example, he told me like when we did the mixes, like he made a mix where it was everything that he would want it to be, and then he did the mix that we wanted it to, like everything the way that we wanted it to be, and he played it back and forth, and he told me, he's like, yours is better. He says like yours just makes sense. He's like the kind of band you are, it doesn't translate
Mhm.
when it's put that way. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So the great thing about him is he's so good enough to understand that different bands require different needs. They have different needs.
Mhm.
The first thing he does when he goes in there with us, and we started doing like the actual tracking, for like the beginning of our record and stuff, he's like, well, what do you want to do? And he asks you, and it's like, it just becomes this thing where it's like, he's much more of like of an add-on, a partner in the thing. He becomes like the fifth member of the band pretty much.
Totally, yeah.
And again, you have a lot of other opinions too. He's got a great engineer named Mike Plonikoff, who's been on, Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
yeah,
Van Halen.
yeah,
Oh my god,
like
crazy.
all over the place,
Well, there's Van Halen, and then there's
yeah,
Van Halen.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
He
Like, did he work on the Nuno Bettencourt years? Or
No, he
did
actually.
he work on the real Van Halen?
I remember actually talking to him.
Yeah.
He told me he actually went on tour with them for like 3 years and recorded all their live albums.
Oh, that's cool.
he did AC/DC live in '90.
So that was back when live albums weren't like just a filler
The dude
on a
worked,
contract.
the dude
I mean,
worked
that
on
was-
Thunderstruck, which is
Razor-
one of the greatest.
Razor's
Yeah, Razor's
Yeah.
Edge. It's one of
Yeah.
the greatest rock songs of all time.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so having him there, and also he has a great crew of guys who are all
Oh, yeah.
talented in really different ways,
Mhm.
And it's a really comfortable atmosphere, and we know all of them, and we go in there. It's just us and him and these guys, and it's a good creative environment for
It
sure.
really is because we don't feel like we have to be responsible for things that we don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. Is because we've trained ourselves so much to be like knowledgeable in a live setting because that's just what we hear. We go play a show, we hear the room, we get tight as a band. Then we go in the studio and it's like you're under the microscope and you don't understand a lot of how it works. And so they're there to tell you.
Or translate what we're trying to.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, they speak dumb musicians.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
Can you make it a bit more clicky?
Like brighter.
Like
Like
words
farther
that do
away.
not make that don't make any sense. And they're like, I know what you mean. You mean like this? You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there you go.
Like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they don't bother to explain it because they know that we're not gonna.
But we're definitely not the easiest people to please either. We're definitely sitting right behind them
Yeah.
like this the whole time, being
Yeah.
like, "Oh, there's a little bit too much bass. There's a
Yeah.
little bit too much
So-
guitar."
So you mentioned that, like, on Mississippi Queen, that was basically what you guys wanted. How
it was
to sound.
It was
Yeah.
I remember when we heard the first mix of it, I was like, there we go. We've recorded stuff like on our own and stuff in the past when we were having little demos pass out at shows and whatever, and it always seemed like it just never was quite there, where we wanted it to be.
Mhm.
And when we did that, when we did this first couple of songs with Howard for the record and stuff, and now we're going to go and continue to do the rest of it and whatnot, it finally felt like we had gotten to the zone where we wanted our sound to be and what it is to be.
Like Nick says a lot. I mean, Nick said this before, but it's a really good way of putting it because we actually worked with 2 other producers before Howard Benson, and it's very much like a Goldilocks and the Three Bears scenario. Because first got one of the times we had a mix that was like too muddy, we couldn't really understand it, but it was still a good mix. And then we had this other guy who made everything super clear, but it didn't sound cohesive, and so he's just there to kind of like bring us all together.
And it sounds like we sound like a band.
Yeah.
Which is very much what I want. I was very explicit about being like, I know the vocal's supposed to lie on top. Like that's because that's just the way of music. But I was very adamant about being like, I can be quieter, because I want to surf on the music. I don't want to be. Here's the music, and a lot of bands do that now, where it's like, what the fuck's the point of the band even being in this?
Yeah,
mix,
it's like you turn the music down to like volume 1 and you just hear like a podcast, like a really quiet podcast. It's like, what is that? You turn up like, oh, there's music.
Yeah, and that's music. You gotta like really
Yeah.
crank it to get any of the instrumentation, which I feel like is such a weird.
It's very anticlimactic.
Yeah,
in some cases.
It takes away the dynamics of like what a band is supposed to be, which is a group playing together, and that's why it's good. Not the guy singing over the band. And it's like the vocal is it's just part of the painting. It's not the whole painting. Everything has to mesh in a way where everything fits together. And I feel like we got, I don't think it was perfect,
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely in the direction that we wanted to go in. And
Absolutely, and we're just gonna keep improving on that sound too, because like we really wanted it to just be like a really fat punch of a mix, and we definitely did that. And it's just like we said, it wasn't perfect, but you know, it's all a process.
But it was our first time doing that, and now we have that to go off of and go forward, and we have so much more that we want to do. Especially, I think sonically, there's a lot more that I want to do. Like, and I know it's the same for the others. Like, we listen to everything, and it's great at the time, but eventually which I know is why we're good musicians, is because we'll listen to it and like, we'll be really happy with it when it's done, and it's all said and done and it's out there. And then you hear it a couple times, and then we take a step back and be like,
things start to bug you.
Yeah, and you're starting to be like, not that really the mix or that it wasn't good or it wasn't completed, but it was more about just like this could be better. The whole thing, everything about this could be better, and whatever the better is to be determined at a later point. But I think that's what keeps us, going. It's just like, oh man, this is great, this is perfect, and then
in the moment,
and then eventually we can look back at it and be like, well, we can do better, and I think as long as we can feel that we can do better, we'll be putting out solid material,
Totally, and that's we're about to take the next step as to like just constantly improving our sound recorded.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys look for a producer who's gonna kind of push you to be better too?
I think that's.
Oh yeah.
I think we
that's a big
definitely
part of
found
it.
him.
Yeah. Not in the way we thought we would.
Yeah.
But
in a very interesting way. Yeah.
But we knew we needed somebody like Howard to help us. We just needed it to be in the right way.
In his own word is like, I'm an asshole. He's like, I'm an asshole, but you're assholes, so we'll get along just fine. And that's just kind of he's
very cheeky,
just as sarcastic and difficult as we are, which makes he fits in fairly well.
Perfectly,
in the soup. He was like the final ingredient to the stew, I guess. Because he keeps us. He's always gonna make you try something that you're not really down for, and because you have this is my thing, but he'll be like, just try it, and if it doesn't work, then he'll acknowledge it. Be like, yeah, you're right, but we tried it, and that's the main thing. Like, let's just try it, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but maybe it will, and that's that was like a growing process for us, I think, is like being able to.
You guys are looking at each other, rolling your eyes.
Just like kind of trying to feel the room, like
growing as creators and remembering that he's there to do it, to create with us, And so instead of creating like this friction, we.
And plus, I mean, I think it'll show in the music too. But we had a lot of fun just recording. Like him and his workers just made it fun. That's the biggest part.
I think they like that we're productive.
But isn't it like having too much fun? Isn't that like a?
Oh well, we're not having too much fun.
Okay.
We're definitely still focused.
Well, when we're in the studio, what we mean by fun is being in the studio.
Yeah, what we're doing is fun.
That's
like when Nick
fun.
tracks vocals, when I track guitar, when Rob tracks drums or Greg tracks bass, doesn't matter who's doing what. It's
you guys
fun.
have been doing
We're
this too
we're
long.
always there.
Yeah.
We're always together.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I don't like not being there when someone's doing something, because I just like the energy, and I want them there. It was a very alien thing for Howard, because like most of the time, like these things, like, no, get out, I'm insecure. For me, I'm like, I need them there. I need them to be in the room. I need them to be there because they're people. The common story is with vocalists and bands and stuff is about this whole ego thing, and I'm just a cog in the machine. I don't like to see myself as anything other than that. I have a job to do and I do it. And I ever since I joined, we truly joined as Joyous Wolf, like I'm always asking them if they like what I'm doing, because I have to translate whatever they create for for me to sing over, and that to me is it's a team effort, no matter what. It's
Everything we do. It doesn't matter if Greg's doing like a small overdub on bass, like, or Rob's doing a little,
Yeah.
percussion thing. Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear how awesome Greg's tone is going to be, because then that becomes my bass guitar sound, and it's Greg's guitar sound, and Nick's drum sound, and Robert's vocal sound. It's all, intermingled.
we're all there for every single shred of what the song is going to be. We wrote it together, we track it together, and then we perform it together.
So you're not going, hey Robert, how'd your
No,
drum
never,
recording go
never.
today?
Yeah.
We would never not be there unless it
No.
was something crazy like a,
Yeah.
unless there was like something like an emergency or whatever.
Totally.
There's no way that we wouldn't be there. Even in those circumstances, I don't necessarily know if you could tear me away from the studio if I'm working. Like, unless something like someone is hurt or something. I think that might be one of the only ways I could get out
Yeah.
of there.
Right.
But
But I mean, it's our life.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. I mean, this is what we do.
this is really all we have.
We have one thing to be, to try and get good at. Let's
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's-
at this point, it's a whole other level of pressure because since we got signed to Roadrunner, and just wanting to please them, but also making sure that we're not going overboard.
Not doing it for them,
Yeah, we're
just
not-
by being ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that pressure now that you guys went from
Indie to
indie to
major in
major.
like a month. And
Yeah.
it was very much like, okay.
I mean, now you've got this team. There's going to be, the CEO's going to know who you guys are.
we
or
met
this
him.
huge,
We met everybody at Atlantic. It's.
And so, do you feel the pressure? Does it scare you?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Not in the way you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all trust each other so much because we know if we keep doing what we're doing and we keep loving what we do, we're just gonna get better, like little by little. So we all trust each other and believe in each other enough to know we're gonna get at that point. So it's like all the other stuff doesn't really matter, to be honest.
I think we've proven it to ourselves that we're good because we've gone all over this country and we've, really brought it down, quite a bit. It made a lot of noise. I mean, when we went out for the first time and played our first couple of festivals, we played Sonic Boom, Rock Allegiance, Aftershock, and Louder Than Life, all in the same month. And we went from no one outside our home city, like Los Angeles, knowing who we are, to suddenly people all over the country know who we are. And we went on to the main stages and we did our thing, and the response was enough.
Yeah.
And we played at Aftershock, and that's where the guy who signed us, Dave, a guy named Dave Rath, he saw us play. We literally, like, people, it's an annoying question. People are like, oh, how'd you get signed? It's like, it's as if there was some secret.
Yeah, like we knew a manager who knew a guy. It's like, no, there was this dude.
Yeah.
It's this backroom deal.
Exactly.
We were playing three-card Monty.
Yeah, we had
And he bet a record deal.
You need to just come up with something, because every interview you ever do
It's so
for the
I
next
think
year
it's
is
a
going to
great
be, how did you
story,
guys
though.
get signed?
We
I
were
know,
a good band, and we played a set.
But people want a better story.
In 30 minutes, we played a set in our home state, in the capital of our home state, after
It's just lazy journalism
Yeah.
asking that question. There's certain, like, I don't know, I always call them interview traps, where the band will do something, and every single interview for the next, 3 months, oh, so what did you do about this?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, if you really cared about that, go take a look at the last interview they did, because it's the exact same question.
Yeah.
pretty
I was saying that there was we played a 30-minute set, and that 30-minute set was very important, and I can't really remember much of the show. I can never remember any of it.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Though.
The crowd was
so
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, being in California and playing festivals was awesome.
Yeah, and he was there, and apparently that was enough for him to be like, there's something there, and
Was he there for other bands, or was he?
He was there.
Well,
for,
did he hear for?
He was there for. There was a lot of Roadrunner bands that
Yeah.
were playing on the circuit.
So he wasn't there to specifically check out
No, it was
Joyous
not,
Wolf.
it was on a complete he's like, all right, I'll go watch this band. We have a good team. You know, we have a people, great agent, some great managers. And they get, they made enough noise for him to be like, okay, I'll go watch this band. Fine.
I won't go get a $20 beer right now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
God.
You know.
That's $20.
Yeah, yeah. and he did, and to me, I feel like knowing that part is enough for us.
Yeah, because I don't know how much simpler we could have made it. Like, we just did what we do live. Like, I mean, most bands are signed, usually because they have really well-connected managers, or it's like a super group within a label that forms the band or something, but this was a somewhat freak accident that happened, but we just played in front of him live,
It was
So did you guys even know he was watching?
Zero.
No, I had no clue.
No.
Not a clue. I knew that I heard word of his presence, but I did not know he was going to be there. And I met him for the first time right after that show, and I just remember he was the first person that we had met a couple labels by that point, and I remember he was the first person to talk about the band, to talk about the members of my band. Like, 'cause I couldn't tell you how many times it was all just like they just want to talk about me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about me. And that was like
about me.
Hey, I want to talk about me.
I want to talk about World of Warcraft.
Yeah. That's what I get. What's your fucking?
What guild?
Yeah, what guild?
What guild are you in?
Oh, we won't go down that road. Sorry.
No, I didn't want to talk. I hated that, because to me, like I said to you earlier, I'm just one cog in the wheel, and again, there's still like a lot of people who are under the impression that they have this like the old school thing where it's like, oh, the guitar player and the singer, they write all the songs, and the rest of the band doesn't matter, but that's not. We're a 4-piece.
Well, you guys are the only ones here, so
Yeah.
you're the only ones that matter.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, look at this couch.
Proof's in the pudding.
Look at this couch. You tell me.
Our bass player is 6'5".
Yeah.
He would not have
He's
gone
a
over
big
well.
boy.
I'd be out of whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh, if Robert was here. Robert can.
No,
put
but
it away.
it's always been 25% around the board in that case,
Ever since we came together for like the very first time, we had made an agreement and a pact with each other that this is it. This is the unit, and the unit will operate together no matter what it is, And that's what I always have a hard time telling people, like, because everyone's always like, oh, but so you and Blake do all the writing, or you do all the writing? I mean, you're the singer, right? And I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, and I've actually understood why that is the more people that I've met, because the more bands that we come in contact with are like, they're startup groups, or they're like businesses who just hire out positions. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many bands we meet where it's like just one guy does all the stuff, or two guys. And it doesn't have to just be the singer. Sometimes it's just like whoever mainly writes the song.
Sometimes it's the bass player.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like the drummer from 3 Days Grace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like
System
the
of a
brain.
Down, it's all written by Darren.
Exactly. Yeah. But I understand that stigma so much more now.
But that later on, that's what always causes problems in the band.
Always.
Because one guy writes everything and he dismisses someone's ideas. He doesn't like it. He changes it and then takes credit for it. I mean, that's what always brings up conflict in the band.
It's just so dumb. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Nick and I have had the conversation of, if we do an acoustic thing with me playing guitar and you singing and that's it, Rob and Greg are still getting credits for the song because we wouldn't have written it if we weren't together.
They weren't
it doesn't
in
make
this
any
band.
sense.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I was asked a long time ago by my lawyer, and this was nothing like against anybody. He was just being like, so I mean, for song credits, I mean, you wrote the song, like, because they were doing like paperwork, like legality stuff.
Yeah.
So you wrote the song, right, Nick? And I was like, no. I mean, I wrote lyrics, and it's like I'm not into that. I'm not in the McCartney club where it's like, You know, I wrote the lyrics.
I wrote the lyrics to Hey Jude.
Yeah,
Yoko, please give me the.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yoko, I know it says John and Paul, but you know it was me.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. And again, neither was Jim Morrison, and he's a big influence on me, just in his mindset and his view of the world and the way he worked in the industry. Like, I don't want to put our music in a commercial that I don't like. If it doesn't make me laugh, or I'm just, or if we're just like,
that's lame.
It's lame.
See,
then
like,
I don't want my song to be accompanied by that. I don't want to be like.
You don't want to see it on an Acura commercial.
Yeah, no, I mean if it's on.
Well, I mean,
it depends on a lot of things. It depends on you know what I mean?
What did I say about the mountain?
Mountain
Man
Dew
commercial.
Mountain Dew. Yeah. We have our song Mountain Man be like Mountain Dew.
That's just like
our sellout daydreams or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our nightmares.
Yeah, our nightmares. But that is something that I feel a lot of bands lack. And that's not just me patting us on the back. I didn't mean to rhyme. But really, though, I feel like that's something that isn't really common anymore. Because we've seen everybody, everybody that plays on the circuit. We've met them all, really, or met or have seen them, and that's the air, is that they're not bands, they're just groups controlled by one or two entities.
Yeah.
And that's just and then everyone else is there just to fill in the gaps,
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, just hold out until we get signed, and then everything's gonna be okay. It's like, you're in for a treat.
It's like the four of us, we're all letters, we're all the letters of our name, and we're not Joyous Wolf unless all four of us are there, that's just something that I feel as a group we have that a lot of people don't have. I feel like a lot of people don't have the kind of relationship that we do.
Because we not that we grew up together. I mean, Nick and the drummer grew up together. They met in 6th grade, but I feel like we've all kind of in some sense have grown up together.
Yeah.
Maybe not as kids, but we became super close together in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean it'll be 4 years for Greg in May. We haven't been around that long, but we always just had this connective vision for ourselves. I remember we would meet with literally anybody who could give us something different, something more than the other bands in the city. Anything, a scrap of something, anything. We were always looking to go up the ladder anywhere, anytime, anything. We didn't want to do pay-to-play shows. We wanted to be paid. We wanted to meet other like-minded bands and play with them, and we wanted to do more than just be this one band. We wanted it to be just more. We wanted more, and I think that was something that helped us get out of the suburbs, into the city.
The suburbs of Orange County.
Well, I mean, it's really what it was, yeah.
I was reading something the other day. Sammy Davis Jr., famous performer with the Rat Pack and everything. He was saying that he thinks that the greatest contributor to creativity is boredom. And I think there was nothing quite as boring, at least for me, than growing up in Orange County, California. I was bored out of my mind,
That's definitely one thing we all had in common.
Was that we were all
let's do
bored.
anything that's not what's happening around us.
Let's get the hell out of here. That was the main. Everyone's like, oh, we got the beach, and the beach is fun once, you go. You can't go there 9 months out of the year. You don't want to go there in December.
Thank you. I grew up on the beach in Ventura and Santa Barbara, and I mean, I was literally our house was on the beach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my kids, let's go to the beach. I'm like, God, that's my backyard. It's like, well,
you grew up in Laguna Beach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I didn't have it rough by any means. My parents
Yeah.
did well for themselves, and I grew up there, so it was great. But nothing around it was appealing to me. I'm not the kind of kid who is gonna take a surfboard out at 5 o'clock in the morning and get my fruit bowl and sit on the beach. I'm gonna like stay in my room
Eat
and
your
write
grape
songs.
nuts.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning on my computer, like writing songs in a dark room.
A big reason why I wanted to work with him was because he had stuff everywhere. He had content all over the map. He had his own like solo stuff he was doing, and then he had played in metal bands like death metal, and he was and had videos online. He was always creating content, and I liked that because I did that. I would be doing my own stuff, and I would be in bands, and I was doing that. So the fact that he was always doing something was attractive because it was like this. Maybe I can like work with this person and we can do this together, and because the main thing is like you can find there are a lot of and he knows this better than anybody. There's a lot of amazing guitar players on this earth who cannot write a song. You just can't. That are incredible players that will blow your mind, but can't, for some reason, can't put it on paper. They just can't.
Yeah, they just they do one thing and they do it extremely well. And a lot of their goals aren't to write good songs. They're just to express their technical abilities, which is great. But it's just we just want to write awesome music that is honest.
Just that it's and that's another thing what you just said is getting that point across to people has been the hardest thing, because there's this whole air of having to explain over and over again that we're not there was never a thought into like because when we started playing there were no rock bands in where we're from, and there are a lot of rock bands in the mainstream, besides your Jack Whites and your Foo Fighters, you have but these guys have been around for for decades 10, at that point,
years.
Right.
And so it was really weird, and we just got together, and if you look at like if you could listen to like our really early demos or whatever, our first recordings, like we were very different than we are now, and but you see like semblances, like the beginnings of like our sound now and whatever, and it's a process, but suddenly again it's like I guess it's they say the right place at the right time, because we had developed this rock sound, our version of it anyways, and but the thing is we showed up at a time where for whatever reason it's considered that like for whatever reason in any other decade in time throughout the last since its invention, no one is it was always like this is just the modern take on rock and roll. This is the modern take on this, whether it's jazz, and they still do that. There's modern jazz, they don't call it throwback jazz because it's jazz. No, like I don't understand.
Proto jazz.
Yeah, proto jazz.
Go,
yeah. I don't really get it, and I still don't get it, and that's what you said. Like this is really just what we do. We don't do any. We make the songs we make because we want. It just happens that way. It's not like we really want to have this classic rock sound, like I just don't get it. See, but someone's like the new wave of classic rock. That made me want to throw up when I read that for the first time. I'm like, what does that mean?
Damn, that was my next interview question. I was going to ask about being the new wave of classic rock.
Oh man,
God,
I don't know.
It's awful.
It's on stuff like that. It's not always the journalist's fault. It's your label or whoever writes your bio, because that's how they're going to sell you as. They're looking for that hook to.
Yeah, but it's definitely the journalist's fault.
About 10 years ago, it was all like that that was like 20 years.
Yeah,
but
I guess it was
that
more.
70s rock sound started coming back. I mean, like with the Sword and a bunch of bands like that. Yeah, and you had all the. So that's how they were selling it.
Yeah.
And these bands are like, no, this is us.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, your bio says you're a 70s rock band.
Yeah, like our bio doesn't say anything like that.
We weren't even born in the 70s.
Yeah.
Our bio says we're fused with Delta blues and heavy metal.
That could be anything.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
Guns N' Roses.
like
I mean, that's.
They weren't throwback.
They weren't.
No, you never heard throwback.
Yeah,
No.
They were actually the hair band.
all the
They were when they first started out.
Yeah,
all the '90s bands, like they weren't called throwback. They weren't called. People didn't know what to call it. They were like. I mean, again, you look back. Black Hole Sun was nominated for Best Metal Song.
Yeah.
and won.
Just confusing.
It like that was best metal song. Was Black Hole Sun.
Jethro Tull won
Yeah.
best metal
yeah,
song.
Jethro Tull. Yeah, exactly. You know, like it makes.
Wow.
Yeah,
No.
they took out an ad the next day that said the flute is metal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's a very confused time, and I feel that
I wouldn't say it's the time. I think it's just, I mean, everyone has to have a label, and they have to
Yeah,
label you guys.
Just call it what it is then.
I look at it,
Yeah.
if a band has like a blues backing, they probably know something about their roots and like where rock came from.
Blues
Yeah.
And so
rock outfit makes more sense. Like if someone said Joyous Wolf is blues rock, I'd be like, I could see that. I can get that. But when they say that we're a classic rock band,
It's just what
it's
just
a
the
very
yeah,
strange.
it's just the sound that reminds people of when they used to hear songs like that.
Yeah,
You know?
but at the same time, I'm just like, call it what it is. We're a modern rock band. We are. That's the. Why can't we say that? We're a new rock band.
Because we don't use synths.
Yeah, we don't use
like
synthesizers or auto tune.
you guys
yeah.
aren't even old enough to know classic rock.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
See, that's
So-
another one.
Exactly.
that
So
bothers
how
me
would we
too.
even know
Yeah.
classic rock? What is classic rock? I don't know. What classic rock is.
I turned on, because I've had Sirius satellite radio
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
since it came out. So 10 years now,
Okay.
maybe a little bit more. Actually, I guess 15 now. And so I haven't listened to like K Earth 101, because I mean that's what I can't stand radio music.
I know.
And so I was driving my wife's car, turned on K Earth, first time I've heard it, and they're playing Madonna, and they're going all your hits from classic rock, and I'm like,
What?
and they were playing.
She's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so there you go.
Yeah, but
I'll cheers to that,
supposedly
yeah, cheers.
anything from like 20 years ago, they consider classic rock.
It's like how
And-
the PS2 is considered.
Yeah, that's vintage.
I wasn't ready for that.
I mean, I think of vintage arcade, and it's
Right?
it's ColecoVision,
Oh, yeah, ColecoVision. Yeah.
the Atari
you go.
2600.
Yeah, it's now an ancient artifact.
I mean,
Put one in this.
there was no joystick. You were going like this.
When I was a kid, we didn't have your virtual reality.
Dude, virtual
Now
reality
people are
makes me
sticking phones
sick.
on their
Yeah,
heads.
yeah.
I just got the
Oh,
VR
the
headset
VR
for
headset.
the
Oh, did you really?
PS4.
Oh wow.
I make it about 15 minutes, and I'm just like,
Really?
and, shit you not, for like the next 20 hours, I feel nauseous.
Wow.
And I was told I need to drink more water from it, or just to get my equilibrium up.
Wow.
But I
Hmm.
biggest waste of money for me.
Oh god.
I hate it.
We actually know a photographer who we used to work with a few years ago. He actually let us try his VR out, and it was the first time we'd ever done it, and it was such a trip.
Pretty weird.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I-
God.
I mean, there have been a bunch of times. I mean, like I was playing a shooting game, and you have to like unload your handgun, set the clip on a table, and so like for like 15 minutes, I'm shooting like targets and people and all that stuff.
Right.
So I thought there was a table right there, and I went to the, like, as my like match was over, went to lean myself on the table, and I just went right onto the floor.
Oh my God.
Because every time I'm setting stuff on the table, it's like holding it
It's
up,
there,
and so it
right.
was, to me, it was there.
Oh my
And my daughter's just watching me, and I,
God. That would have been great, man.
yeah. So this is a knock.
That's a very, very nice
Wow.
scent to it. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah, this is a Scottish malt. This is from the Highland region, so it's got a little bit of a smokiness to it.
For sure.
I really
Yeah.
like that
Got a nice spice.
So we're kind of moving up in.
quality.
I can.
You know what? I hate to say moving up in quality, because I mean it's.
Maybe it's not.
I think this is like one of the higher end
maybe not
ryes.
quality, but maybe it's like the way that it's distilled. I feel like
Yeah.
there's more, maybe a little more time put into this one than perhaps the others, especially that first.
I mean,
one.
this is I believe it's a single malt. Yeah, it is a
It's
single
very
malt.
nice.
So it's.
Yeah.
very smooth.
Yeah.
For real.
Again, this
yeah.
one and the last one are just so much easier to drink.
Mhm.
Like this is quite. I gotta ask you because you do this all the time. So your alcoholic endurance must be pretty high. You could probably drink a lot and not get too
Yeah.
messed up. Yeah.
Jeez.
I like this a lot.
The first show we did, I didn't know, like, I didn't want to like look like I was cheap or anything, so I was filling the glasses like half full.
Oh my god.
And it was a guy and a girl, and the girl was like that tall, maybe like that tall.
I'm sure that interview ended
And-
perfectly.
Well, I mean, I didn't think anything was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just, and we were done, and she goes, "Oh, can I have another, like another glass of like, I think it was like one of the Scottish ones." I was like, "Yeah." So I poured her some. So I'm talking to her husband, and all of a sudden the bathroom door shuts.
Oh my god.
And then she just like makes a beeline for the car, and we didn't see her for like 15 minutes. I said, "I think your wife is ready to go."
Oh.
And he goes, "Why? Where is she?" She's like in the car. I could see through the window. She's like, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm serving too much.
Oh. That's not your fault. She's asked for another glass.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, it hits you a little late sometimes.
That happens to me with tequila a lot.
Rum.
Like, I'll just do tequila shots, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, you feel all 7 shots. It's like, oh, they're there.
I'm a pirate, man. I love my super fruity
Drinks.
rum drinks, dude. I love it. Remember that drink I made at my house the other day, or a while back, when I did the like pineapple juice and rum, dude, is a godsend. It's freaking like I want to drink more of that. But
Yeah,
I know if I do, I'm gonna
No,
pay for it.
I'm also.
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
We'll
there
give
you
it.
go.
We'll give it a couple minutes.
Yeah, that one was really good. It was
Yeah.
like, it was very clear tasting, and it was
Mhm.
like, there was definitely some spice in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
It was
kinda
like,
like
right away the
allspice.
contact with your
Yeah.
tongue. It's like it's a very good, like I don't even know how to describe it. It's a very, just like what you said, it's a very spicy little.
Yeah.
You can actually taste that there's something else in there besides alcohol. which is-
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's when stuff gets fun because it's almost like music. I mean,
Totally.
there's certain albums where you kind of like listen to them and you hear different things each
It's
time
like-
you
Oh,
listen.
every time.
And-
Sugar, John Mayer.
But you hear-
Sugar,
Yeah.
John Mayer. Like if you want to listen to some like just mellow, like that kind of stuff, I feel like that's like a smooth drink. And then you want something. Sometimes you want to just get fucked
It's a
up.
party liquor.
Yeah, and then
Yeah. Just want to taste the alcohol.
so, yeah.
Yeah, so covering a song like Mississippi Queen, I mean, that's the song that pretty much got Mountain into the Rock Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, that is their song.
That is.
Sadly, it only hit, like, I don't even think it broke the top
It
20.
was in top 40.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is for such a classic
Yeah.
song.
God, I know, it's almost a shame, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that, of course, just gets more popular as time goes on.
Yeah,
You know?
but
That was our whole thing going into it, was because we wanted to. I mean, we chose that song because we had some history with it. It was a song that we all liked. That
Mhm.
he actually was playing when we first started the band. He's playing it for me and Robert. And he's like, "Oh, you know the song?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we know this song." And so there's a little bit of a history there, and so when we decided on it, like the main goal was just to be like, okay, we can bring more attention to Mountain.
Yeah, this is not about, hey, let's see what cool things we can do to this song and make it terrible. And
see,
totally
and that's what.
destroy it.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear like a band, even
Do
if
that.
like whether I like them or not, and I hear, oh, we're covering this, and if it's like a song that, like for me, that I have history with,
Yeah.
I just
It's
kind
a-
of like cringe a little
Exactly,
bit.
because it's
And-
emotional. There's
Yeah.
a very special place in everybody's heart for that specific song.
Yeah.
So a reason why somebody would want to cover it, you have to have a good reason for it.
Mhm.
Just to get publicity from that sake,
Mhm.
is like obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're taking some 80s pop song. You're not doing 99 Red Balloons or something. But, I mean, it's like, I mean,
Hey.
this is like,
Keep that quiet. You're supposed to know.
Wait till 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
You bust out the synths.
Yeah, we're gonna bust.
Well, I mean, I love where songs come from, and I know like everything about Mississippi Queen,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
and so I mean, when I heard you guys were covering, because I've heard so many bad
Well,
covers
yeah.
of
Oh,
Mississippi
yeah.
Queen.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of surprising and like.
Not as many as I thought we'd hear,
Yeah,
though, to be honest.
yeah, there were some good ones.
Yeah.
There
there
are
are some solid
some
good ones, but then
good
there's
ones.
also some ones where I'm like, why?
You expect them
Yeah.
to be like some YouTube video of some kid who's just like doing it in their basement
Yeah.
type thing,
Yeah,
but it's like a
know.
professional
Yeah.
band.
And you're like,
I know.
oh,
We just like, we just had this awesome guitar tone that our producer helped us get, because he has this one pedal that I'm gonna try and convince him to let
The Pussy
buy
Melter.
one day. Pussy Melter, exactly. No,
yeah,
not-
exactly.
Not that one.
Full circle.
Surprisingly, not that one. But just the tones that we got from recording that were so inspiring enough to do the cover alone. It just gave it that much more power, I think, to be able to capture it that way. It was really cool for us.
Like he was saying, like there's a lot of emotional connection to the song because a lot of people grew up with it, and again, it's always kind of been this song that's kind of just been there, you know, like it's.
It's almost like a
yeah.
rock standard.
It is a rock
Yeah.
standard. It is a
Yeah.
rock standard. It's exactly what it is. So
I mean, you don't even have to know Mountain to
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
Mississippi
Mississippi
Queen.
Oh no, most people have no idea who Mountain is,
Yeah.
but they're like, oh, Mississippi Queen. I love that song.
Yeah.
Who's it by?
Yeah, I mean, Leslie West was one of the greatest guitar
He
players.
still is.
He
still
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
he was legendary, man. Like his sound, not even talking about his voice
Yeah.
either, but
Yeah.
just the sound he got from his instrument was unlike anybody else at the time,
Yeah.
for sure.
The thing that I talk about, I'm like he was both of us. That's the
Yeah, that's the
like he was
like
both
better than both of
yeah,
us.
you know, like we both have
way better.
Like you and I both have to literally work our butt off to do what one guy could do.
Yeah,
Which is like
yeah.
insane.
Pretty
He
fun.
really was a phenom, you know.
Mhm.
And then you hear he's from like New York, and you're like, you know, again, it's just like you're finding out John Fogerty's from San Francisco. It's like what, you know, like, yeah, you know, he's like
My
well,
childhood
you mean,
ruined
Yeah, you
again.
mean they're not from they didn't rise, all crawl out of a swamp in
Yeah.
Louisiana, you know, like. It's if you're hearing about stuff like that, but it's like they were meticulous, you know, about getting all three of them about getting the instrumental exactly like the original track, and for me it was
Yeah.
all about just being able to achieve his intensity,
Mhm.
and you know because I'm not going to sound like him. You know I don't.
And you shouldn't try
yeah,
to
and
sound like
exactly.
him.
I won't
Yeah.
try, but my thing is like capturing I come from a lot of the same music that inspired that song. Like I grew up with blues music and early rock and roll. The stuff that I know inspired that music. So for me, I was very at home, you know, and I knew I just had to bring it, you know, and I have to bring it and I have to really mean it, you know. And while we were in Louisiana, we stopped with our friend Andrew, who was on tour with us at the time. We stopped at this remember that restaurant we were eating at, that little like buffet place in Louisiana.
Oh,
With all
yeah.
remember where the waitress came over and dumped the extra gravy on my food? Dude, I will never get. I went and got to the buffet and I got a pretty good little portion. I put, oh yeah, I'll have a little bit of gravy. So she put a little gravy, and there's this cute waitress, really cute waitress, and she was like total Southern girl, you know, like. Would you like some more? It looks like you need some more gravy.
Now I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. You know, at the time, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll have some more gravy.
And it's like
you know?
real gravy.
Yeah. Oh
But
man,
we didn't
pork
know-
gravy.
Yeah, we didn't know the southern meaning of gravy.
Yeah. So she doesn't come over and give me like a little.
Making gravy
Yeah,
is a
she-
national
yeah,
pastime
yeah.
out there.
She went over and brought me not like a spoonful or like a cupful, a giant ladle,
Yeah.
and went. And I was like looking at it, and she's like waiting for. She's like, you know, like this is normal, and I
You
was
want some
like,
food to go with your gravy?
yeah, I was just like, you know, it was the saltiest thing I ever ate. But I'm not lying to you when I say this. I thought about that lady when I was recording the track. I'm like that because that was my experience in Louisiana. Like that was, and it was like this person. So that's what I thought about. I had to connect it to somebody who was real, you know, and I just thought that was a funny little thing. But if I could achieve the intensity of his vocal, then
Well, Mississippi
yeah.
Queen, that came out of New York, actually. The song.
Yeah.
Out of Cape Cod, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly.
Mhm.
Do you know the story to it?
I don't think I don't think I do.
It's
Go
about
It was-
a boat, isn't it?
About
No.
steam. No, it's not about a steam. It's not about a steam.
It's
boat.
about a girl.
It's about a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
The drummer
Interesting.
of Mountain, Corky
Corky
Lang.
Lang. Yep.
He was in a band called Energy, and they were playing in Cape Cod summer night, and everyone was running their AC, so the power went out for the whole, like the club and everything. So the emergency lights kick in, and none of the guitars or anything in his band were working. So he just had a cowbell, his drums, and he just started playing the cowbell. And
Yeah, I've heard
his
the story,
friend,
yeah.
his friend brought this really hot girl in a see-through dress from Mississippi up
No
for the show,
way.
and he wanted to keep her dancing because he thought it was the hottest thing he ever saw. So he just kept playing the cowbell, going Mississippi Queen for, he says, an hour, but I can't imagine it going on that long.
Right.
And so he went and he, like a year later, 6 months later, he joined Mountain, and he showed Leslie West what he was doing. Leslie West said, "Hey, I got this guitar riff that'll go
Wow.
great with it," and
And the rest
he
is-
laid out, and yeah, then Felix came in, took credit for everything,
Yeah.
like anyone,
Oh yeah.
like singers always do.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very much that experience. I mean, again, I think we got it right, because the amount of positive response to it since we released it, it was exceeded any doubt that we did the cover.
Do you like kind of
correctly.
second guess yourselves when you're about to release like something like that? Because
Always.
it's
We had never.
I mean,
done
there's
anything
always-
quite
it's
like
different
it.
than
Yeah.
releasing your own song, and it's
Yeah.
different than
Oh, yeah.
releasing.
All you can hope
something
for
else.
is that you did it justice, and I think the thing is,
And that's what you can.
I was
oh,
really
yeah.
confident. I was really confident, at least in what I did. I was like, yeah, I think I nailed that as best as anyone else could.
Oh yeah, when we heard it back and we heard the master and we heard how it was actually going to sound, I was so stoked because I thought it was like the greatest thing I'd ever heard. But I'll never for a second be totally confident that a group of people won't hate it just because it's a cover or something, or maybe they've noticed one little thing. But that's neither here nor there. As long as you're confident with it and you think you did a good job and you're satisfied with it, I think you can sleep at night. I think that's okay.
I think for all the stuff that we did on the first sessions we did with Howard, I think it's all going to do well. I mean, you can just count. I think you can really feel the energy in the room, especially with the drums, because Robert had a field day. He got to go record his drums at Sunset Sound in the room where Led Zeppelin 2 was recorded. So he was in the exact spot. His drums set up in the exact spot on the same microphones that John Bonham played through at Sunset Sound.
He was.
Yeah.
That was one of the happiest days I've ever seen Rob.
Yeah.
Happiest and nervous.
Yeah.
At the same time.
He got to use the snare drum that was on Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine. He got to use the same snare drum.
Just
Oh,
like
wow.
all of his
Yeah.
favorite drummers. And,
Yeah.
all this cool
And
stuff.
he got to have Dave Grohl's drum tech help him tune his drums for the session, whatever.
Mhm.
And he was just over the moon. That I think that was the day in his mind, at least I can really say. Besides like playing the shows and stuff, where I think he was like, yeah, I'm a professional drummer now. I think that was a real big deal to him. And we're just gonna now we're even. Well, I think now we're just more prepared and we're a little smarter. We went through that and took a lot from it. So the next sessions we do, I think, are going to be even better.
We're only getting more hard on ourselves with what we consider to be a good song, because like sometimes we'll have ideas like, hey, maybe this can work, but normally if it doesn't like grab your attention and everybody in the room isn't like on the same page and like really stoked about moving forward on it, then we'll pretty much just leave it for dead. But
which happens quite a bit, But then
Oh, yeah.
sometimes we'll be doing something completely different and be like, well, what if we put that thing that we left alone in there? And it's like, look, it's.
Yeah, revisit stuff.
Yeah, but we just always try and be harder on ourselves every time.
Yeah.
No hard feelings.
Always hard feelings.
Always hard feelings.
Always hard.
Does it? So
Never.
it hurts?
No,
Because a
no.
lot of bands say, "Oh,
It's
it doesn't
coming.
hurt," but You can see sometimes in their eyes. 'Cause
And-
it's like, yeah, for the last like 10 years, like 4 albums, I've been trying to get this one song. It's like, you know the guy.
You know, if it's a contender or if it's something you hate to see go, maybe. But if it's for the greater good, it's a sacrifice well spent.
I feel like for us, it'll always come back in some format. Like we've done. I think we've written it. We wrote entire songs that had like a certain part that was good to it, and then we're like, well, what if we just put that part from this song that we don't play anymore into this new song?
Yeah.
And then it's like, suddenly it was like a weaker song
It works.
overall, but it had this one part, and then we have this song that's not complete, that needs a part. And it's like, well, what happens if we drop that in there? And it's like, it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you get a little bit of that song that we left behind, and it's like, so it lives on,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Final bottle.
Oh man.
Oban, also a single malt from Scotland.
Boy.
From Scotland.
So any special history about this one?
It was the most expensive bottle at the grocery store.
That's special to me.
That's bad. It's worth it. Thanks for buying it for the show.
No, I always like try and find like different stuff. Stuff that I haven't heard people talk about. I just want to try something different.
Totally. Because
I mean,
what's
when
the
you're-
point of having the same tasting liquor or whiskey but different quality? Like,
It's like,
you
welcome,
kind of get an
welcome
idea.
to the beer tasting
Well,
show. I
and
got
that's-
cores,
Yeah.
and cores.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Because I'm doing like 3-4 shows a week, and I mean, I feel like I'm repeating so many of the bottles,
Right.
and I'm just like, oh.
Well, plus you want to get different
So,
variety of like tastes.
yeah.
And that makes it fun for you too, because you get
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
it'll be your first time trying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was so excited about this bottle earlier in the week.
man.
The ugly.
That's
duckling
usually how
that
it goes,
stayed
though,
ugly.
isn't it? Like you get a new bottle and you're like, oh man, like I've heard pretty good stuff about this. I'm stoked to try it. And of course, because you're waiting for it, it's a disappointment. And then the one you never expect to taste great comes out of nowhere, and it's awesome.
It's like a hamburger place, You're like, oh, this place has got great burgers, and then like you go there and you're like, it's okay.
See,
Yeah.
this is, I think this bottle is like when you go to a Mexican restaurant and order the hamburger.
Oh, that's a very good way of putting it.
Because I mean,
Wow.
this came out of Sonoma. They're known for wine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Not
why
whiskey.
it wasn't right.
Yeah, and it's just, you know what?
I think what that tastes like. A bunch of people who make wine tried to make
Yeah.
make whiskey, because it's like it just reeks of cherry, but not in a good way. It's like cough medicine cherry, and it's like this just tastes, and it hurts,
This stuff wants to go straight down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like got a nice stink to it, but it's
Yeah.
still.
I
going
always
down.
call this like the Mountain Dew of whiskey because it just,
Yeah.
it's like so smooth.
Definitely.
Mountain
yeah,
Dew.
man.
I remember like when I was a kid, like remember that whole Mountain Dew thing? They said like Mountain Dew like makes you infertile or something. That was like
I never heard
was-
that.
remember that whole thing? You ever hear about
No,
that?
I
That was
don't.
the thing that was like everywhere for a while. It was like, dude, don't drink Mountain Dew. It'll make your balls fall off or something.
Oh, no.
And I was like stuff like that, and I'd be like, I'd have it in my lunch, and I'd be like,
Yeah, like 12-year-old
Yeah.
who's like,
See, I had my health
I
team.
know, right? I'm not even paraphrasing.
That's so
That is something
funny.
some kid told me in elementary school.
See, my health teacher in our like don't do drugs
Yeah.
segment in 9th grade told us that if you smoke pot and you get any of the stems, you're going to be infertile. And I was like, I don't care about kids.
well,
Fuck 'em.
they always with that kind of stuff, they try and make the abnormalities like cases
Yeah.
of an extreme situation be like, oh well, this could happen. It's like, yeah, it'll fall off in another dimension and be eaten by dogs. There's a pamphlet on that. I'm sure it's in health
What
class
was the
somewhere
South
too.
Park thing?
No, that was a Family Guy.
No,
thing.
what was the South Park one? Remember, it was like, what was the thing?
Oh, it's like if you it was being about eating gluten.
Yeah, eating gluten.
If you ate gluten, your dick would fly off and explode.
like a
That was the whole
firework.
episode.
It
just to
actually happened.
just to make fun of people.
Like freaking out over gluten.
Yeah,
You know,
I thought it was amazing.
I mean, not to any offense to the people who are actually allergic to this stuff.
No,
but,
like celiac disease is a real
celiac
thing.
disease
Yeah,
is real, but freaking the people that are just like, ever since I haven't eaten gluten, I just feel great.
like my new
Shut up.
boyfriend, the yoga instructor Chad, said I should be gluten free. It's like,
Well,
My new yoga instructor boyfriend Chad. That's like a perfect 10 right there.
you'd think so.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, at this point, isn't everyone gluten free?
It seems. I mean, those who
I
can
eat whatever
afford
I
to do
want,
it,
dude.
I guess,
Whatever.
or care.
I feel sorry for chefs.
I really do too. Yeah, like okay, make a cake, but it can't be a cake.
Yeah.
They can't have sugar
Yeah.
or frosting or flour
Or meat products of any kind.
or a
Just open up a
restaurant
can
or
of dog
gelatin.
food.
or metal utensils.
Yeah.
Or an oven.
And or enough.
You have 2 minutes.
If they're like
Well,
raw
they're-
vegans.
they're-
Yeah.
Yeah,
The raw
raw
vegans.
vegans.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
get enough.
What was this heated? God, why? We were
can only
in.
be
My wife
70
and I were
degrees.
in a. I think it was in Pence Winery in not Temecula, Santa Ynez, up above Santa Maria, up above by Solvang.
Yeah.
They had one line of wine that was raw wine. All their wine was organic, but they had one that was raw because anytime you make wine, it gets heated up over 114 degrees, and so
Oh no.
they had one raw wine for the people who. And I'm just like, what's the point? You know what?
What
You know,
is that?
there's a whole-
grape juice.
Yeah, I mean, raw wine is or being like a raw vegan is a choice.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to have wine at this point.
There's a
No wine for you.
I just watched a documentary a few months ago about food and the distribution of food and health scares or health preferences depending on what you believe in, that kind of stuff. And one of the debates was letting people sell raw milk.
hmm
And
Like unpasteurized.
well, no, I mean like it comes from the cow. And
Oh.
it's just that. It's
Oh.
straight from the udder. It's not
processed or
exactly. It's not filtered or anything like that.
There's a place about 3 or 4 miles, like north of here. It's a cheese place. So they sell a lot of cheese, kind of like the raw milk. That's kind of borderline on what you're allowed to import.
Right? It's
And
like, yeah.
There's like some cheeses that like I'll go and it sucks because everything's by the quarter pound. It's like $32 for a quarter pound of cheese, but it's like the best cheese in the world. And so I'd go in and order, God, what was it? I think it was Lagrange cheese, and it's cheese that tastes like salami. It's so
Really?
fucking good.
What?
There's no salami in it or anything. It's not like that mortadella type
Oh,
thing.
right.
But
like
it's
chunks of it.
yeah, it's. I mean, it just tastes so good.
That's wild.
And like, probably 90% of the time I'd go in and ask for it. Oh, it got stopped through customs. Well,
oh
why?
my god. The cheese
It
police.
tested positive for listeria again. I'm like, and so
Yeah,
my wife
again.
is I think you should not be eating this cheese
Exactly.
because
Well, that was the whole debate about the documentary that I was watching. Like, because mothers were giving this raw milk to infants as a formula substitute because they believed it had certain health benefits, but because a baby's immune system is, very
Still
small
coming
and
up.
growing, it has no chance of fighting all of the natural bacteria and hormones in cow's milk, and so there'd be all these crazy cases of like babies getting actually sick and dying from raw milk. And it's like, how can you debate it from that point
I don't know.
when you've had cases
I
like
don't
that?
know.
But it's just one of those examples of, I didn't mean to go off on a gluten-free tangent, but it's one of those things where it's like,
How dare you?
yeah, how dare you?
you
Yeah.
just lost half your fan base.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for
So
all,
long.
sorry for
Yeah.
all the raw milk.
The raw
drinkers.
milk.
I don't know, I'm vegan anyway, so I don't care either way.
I don't know. I just,
Is it hard being vegan on the road?
No.
Or do you
Not-
just
not
go to
as hard as
Taco Bell?
I mean, sometimes when
You'd be
it's
surprised how many natural grocers.
oh
stores
yeah,
there are
a
in
lot of
the
natural
country.
grocers. But I mean,
There's vegans everywhere now.
Are there?
yeah, I just get like I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy like the microwavable rice packets or Indian food packets,
Yeah,
and
okay.
beans, and mix them together with like vegetables. it's really a lot easier than people make it out to me. They just
So I'm
don't
just
take it.
picturing like everything being
I
where
mean,
they're ladling gravy on top of
Oh,
everything.
you see me cutting vegetables in the back of the van
Yeah.
and pouring it into a stove. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, in the back of the van there's a
Back
stove.
of the van, there's a stove.
Yeah, we have barely enough room for me, but there's a stove back there.
To boil some
yeah.
potatoes while I'm at it.
I mean, it's like he's pretty. A lot of people were just. Veganism isn't necessarily about the diet. It's like but not for everybody. But it's not about the diet. It's about like the trendiness of it, I guess. Like there's a lot of people like that, and it has to be like artisan vegan food.
Orange County. By
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, exactly.
Just make a plug.
Yeah, plugging Orange County.
One of the many.
Yeah,
things
move here. It's
Orange
great.
County. Move here. It's expensive.
It's so good.
I had a idea. I sent one of my friends who's a suicide girl,
Right.
and she's full on vegan, and she also writes. And so I said, I need you to write an article, sending you on the road with a band. You're going to do a 30-day tour with them over like 33 days. But you need to write about like your experiences on being vegan. She didn't realize the band I was hooking her up with, I forget the band's name, but at every stop they would barbecue. And so
That must be
it ended up being a bad idea because
Sure.
about the 20th day she called me and she said, I need a plane ticket home. The singer found out what I've been writing about him, and he just smashed in the van windows with a baseball bat trying to get to me.
Oh my god.
It just went really bad because I mean she was calling him like a animal. I mean just like
That was
God.
a good.
it sounded good on paper, but
sounded
it just
great on paper.
it went horribly wrong. I'm sorry, Pandy.
Yeah, it's.
yeah.
I mean, it's it's personal preference, but on the road, it's just like whatever's easiest, and it just happens to be a lot of things are actually easy. It's not that hard.
So is he a pain in the ass to deal with on the road?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Fine. Like you guys all go to one restaurant and drop
I
him
mean,
off somewhere else. Use the restroom.
I
And
mean, most of the time it's like if there's a veggie burger, he'll eat it.
Oh yeah.
Or if there's or sometimes he'll just get French fries, which I always tell him like.
it's probably
It's
worse.
So good.
Especially if it's like the worst thing for him is when it's like late at night. That's when it's bad because either he had unless he stocked up during the day to get like some stuff to make it he'll go make it in a. I do it too. I love the like what do they call it, the mighty meal or whatever it's called?
The Uncle Ben's. Like,
No, the what do they call it? It's called like the something meal, the rice ones that we always get.
the rice ones.
You know, the like I have those bags of rice. What are they called? They're called like Simply Meal or something. Whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
But you just put them in the microwave and you have an entire half pound of basmati rice.
Totally.
And I love rice, and I love
Yeah,
carbs. So I'm
Yeah.
so for me that's like I'm down with that. He's like I can't eat. I could, but I can't. I don't want to eat chicken nuggets every night because there are times where I'm like, it's nuggy time, dude. It is time to ingest some nuggets, and that's just what I want, and I'm gonna get it, no matter how much our tour manager hated it. I would, because he's a vegan too. I'd be like, get me some goddamn nuggets.
So now, speaking of carbs,
Yeah.
you're like one of those bands, and I mean you're one of those singers that probably has to carb up before going on stage. You seem to. I've seen like a lot of bands who go from like playing at the Whiskey to playing like festival stages, and it's so weird because they just stay in this little like a box. But you guys are not like that,
We're very fortunate.
and you guys like you take advantage of the entire stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You kidding me? The first time I was on a festival stage, I didn't know what to do. I was going out of my mind. I was like,
It's like
I
a
was
junk,
like, I have
a
all this
playground.
room. And that's really where the development, like true development of like, at least for me personally, like when my stage show has evolved into now is like, now I have enough room to do backflips and stuff and not worry about kicking Greg in the face, stuff like that.
Did you really worry about that?
Oh yeah, there were a lot. There's been plenty of close calls.
It's only a basis.
About the nose incident.
Oh well, yeah. There's one time when we were on stage at Wally's. We're actually gonna go back there. It's pretty soon. I can actually say it now because the show's already announced online. We're playing with Buck Cherry in Wally's in New Hampshire. But at the same club, we were playing with Fozzy, and they were jamming on one of our tracks, like second to last song, and I get into the music and I'll close my eyes and I'm just throwing my head around as you do, and I didn't realize that he was backing up, and I threw my head down, and his bass guitar, like right where the metal nut is, on his guitar, like where the strap goes, I bashed my nose like right onto it, and I broke my nose,
Oh shit.
and I was bleeding profusely, like
There's
a
a lot
of
of
blood, yeah,
Yeah.
all over the place.
There's some great pictures of him outside,
Yeah.
just like very dazed.
Yeah, like
and like
yeah.
yeah.
Everybody was so worried. I had to go to the little like urgent care down the road to make sure I didn't do something too crazy, And it was actually funny is I broke my nose a lot in my life because I played sports and whatever, and this is actually straighter now after that. So thanks, Greg.
Yeah, so Greg
Yes.
always says you're welcome every
Yeah,
time.
every time it comes up, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, like so yeah, I was bleeding everywhere, and we finished the show. It didn't hurt, it didn't feel like it looked, it never does, because this is a real. You ever broken your nose? You ever had a bloody nose? Like when your nose bleeds, it bleeds.
Yeah.
And when you really just hit the.
It's like 0 to
shit-
60.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it was
There's no in between.
So the guitar player of Fozzy tosses me a rag from the crowd, so I have like this like give up flag pretty much, but I'm like holding my face and then doing the rest of the set, and I still did my whole show, and I go into the audience at the end of the set, and I'm bleeding all over the floor. I bled all over this microphone.
Yeah,
they gave it to me because they're like, yeah, you can have it.
We're not touching that.
It still has now it's like a dark burgundy stain on it, but I still have that mic, and I'm keeping it for the rest of my life. Yeah, that was a definite mishap. But like there have been times where Greg accidentally will bat me in the head with the headstock of his bass guitar. Like little things like that teach you how to operate in each other's space, and for the most part it's like watch out, because sometimes I'll be just kind of into it and I won't, but I try very well to stay in my little. If I'm on a smaller stage, I stay in like a little area, and
Yeah.
on big stages though, like the festival stages, like it's free for all, man.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say is like we did go from that kind of transition. It's not that we don't still play venues of that similar proportion, but it's a lot more widespread and more on a track now these days, which is super nice. But yeah, I mean, we love taking advantage of any kind of stage and any kind of room, just because we can turn up louder, we can do more stuff, have more fun.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I can put on a way bigger spectacle on it. That's what I love about festival shows. I can put on a real physical spectacle, whether I'm hanging upside down from the trusses or.
Yeah. Did you know you were going to get kicked out if you climbed up?
No one, that rule is not written down. Apparently it has been added, and I'm very proud of that. I hope it's like the Nick Reese clause now, like, or something, like the addendum, because, yeah, no one said I couldn't do it. But I also didn't ask.
There was a band in the 90s, and they used to play the Whiskey a lot. And their last song, they'd just bring everyone in the audience up on stage. And I mean, it was just mayhem.
Jeez.
And I mean, people were, at the Whiskey, you can't stage dive. They'll throw you out. And the singer stage dove. And security took him outside. And so he had a wireless mic. And so the song's not over. So it's the last song. So he's singing from outside.
Wow.
And finished the set that way.
I guess they must have calmed down. I've done it.
Jeez.
Yeah, they used to be.
I think the security guard helped.
That's weird.
Oh, really? it in the 90s, it was just really. I hated the Whiskey.
Yeah. I still hate it. I hate it now.
I managed a band.
I will not endorse the Whiskey a Go. I will say that we've had too many stupid times at that venue where it's just.
It's
Yeah.
never a good time for anybody.
I mean,
it's
if you-
just a shit show. But
Mhm.
the Viper Room has always treated us with the utmost respect.
To
It's
get
been very nice to us.
dignifying,
Mhm.
it was actually really cool. We did it last show. We did there a photographer named Maximus, who's an incredible photographer. He took
Maximus
a shot.
Reed.
Yeah, he took a shot of us sitting downstairs in the. Have you ever been there? You know,
Mhm.
the little bar room on the first floor. You know,
Yeah.
you walk up the stairs. There's that little room off to the side. You're in there sitting on the couch, and you put the. They have these stools that have, or little tables that have the Viper Room on it with the logo. So he put it down, and there's there's this little Viper Room logo right at her feet, you know, and we're all sitting there. He took a shot of it, and the Viper Room saw it, and they asked and requested a blown up version of it because they're going to put it in the Viper Room,
Oh, nice.
which is such a cool thing
That's
for
such an
us
honor,
because
yeah.
that was really where we got started.
We've
you know?
played there at least a dozen times.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
at least.
Yeah.
I always love being like backstage at different
Well, I
venues,
think
and you
more
see
than
like
that.
I was saying at least. Yeah, definitely.
see like bands playing at that venue.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's just like
it's so much more intimate.
It's very
yeah,
intimate,
like
yeah.
the Troubadour. They have that.
Oh, the
above the
Troubadour is definitely
bar.
still on the bucket
We've
list.
yet to
Yeah.
have a chance to do it. I
Yeah,
Really?
we want to do it. We want to do it big when we play there.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, when we go on our first like headlining tour, that's definitely a place that we want to
Yeah.
hit. You know, by that point we'll have our record out and everything. And
That's
actually
always
going
cool
full
because
force, you know.
going back to a small venue like that. I mean, the
Oh,
Troubadour.
one
is,
day
like,
we're
the
gonna go
best
back to the Viper Room and we're
venue.
gonna make it stupid. You know, like that's
Yeah.
our goal, and it gets a little bit like that every time. I mean, I feel like the last couple times we play at the Viper, we always have a pretty decent audience. You know.
Mhm.
And LA is. I mean, I've always make this joke with people on the road and whatever. It's like, I think we'll break it in literally every city in the world, before we break it in Los Angeles. That's what it feels like. Everywhere else seems easy, and Los Angeles is just such a tough crowd.
That's what I always thought was funny. Like in the 90s, early 2000s, like all these bands are, oh yeah, we moved out to LA to make it. I was like, really?
I mean, the reason why is because the
Yeah.
industry's there. I mean, I get that.
It
The
is,
Capitol
but-
Records and everything. Back then, it made more sense. Now, do not do that.
If a band like
Yeah.
Slipknot can get signed in Iowa,
Totally.
or Killswitch Engage in Alaska,
Yeah.
I didn't know that's
Yeah,
where they were from.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're an Alaskan band. I mean, so
That's
you
hilarious.
can get signed
Alaskan
anywhere at this
Wolf.
point.
You know, I've heard they have a great music scene up there. Actually,
In Alaska?
I swear to God.
I've never heard
Yeah,
of that.
didn't Pitbull play there?
Excellent.
There was that.
Bad example. Let's
There was a contest with
let's edit that
Walmart.
part out. We'll cut that.
The Walmart that, like, if you sign up and you could vote where to send Pitbull, and all these people from like 4chan decided, let's send Pitbull to the most remote place possible. So they sent him to Alaska,
What?
the most northern Alaska Walmart they could find. And I mean, kudos to him. He actually showed up.
Oh my God.
But it's like 10 people in there, and they're all wearing like, they all look like Eskimos. But
That's
he
hilarious.
went up there. He was cool about it.
Wow.
But I mean, the whole thing was
That's-
they just wanted to get him
I
the
was
fuck out of
wondering
the
why you're bringing it up. I'm so glad you told me that.
That's so
'cause I had
funny.
no idea about that. That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
I really do love the internet.
yeah,
sometimes.
they do some pretty great things.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
did the same thing with Ariana Grande, but she never showed up. She just sent like,
Dude, I would totally go.
That would have been.
If that happened, again, especially, I doubt Pitbull paid for it. You know, I doubt. You know,
yeah, it was a thing
so,
arranged through
If
Walmart.
we were,
Nice.
we were doing that, we would go. I would be like, let's go. We're going to freaking whatever the hell Alaska.
When else are you going to play Alaska?
We will go.
Most
through,
tour promoters and booking agents are not going to send you to Alaska.
I would like to play a show in Alaska. It's got to be some happening place in Alaska.
Gotta be some
Capital's
You know
gotta
how
be
stoked
Yeah,
those
Juneau,
people would
Anchorage.
be?
Yeah.
No, you know how stoked those people would be out there. Yeah.
It's like you
Awesome.
show up in Hawaii, the whole
Yeah.
state shows up for the
Yeah,
show. So
Yeah,
it's-
well, that's what just happened with Guns N' Roses' last show on their tour was in Hawaii.
yeah.
Huge turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing them, of course, but
I would totally play in Hawaii. That sounds like a fun
it
time.
wouldn't be bad.
I mean, we went. I was talking about this earlier today, actually, on the drive over. We were talking about when we did Shiprock and went to the Bahamas, and
Yeah.
we were sitting on a beach in the
Bahamas.
wherever that place, Half Moon Cay. That's what it was.
Mhm.
And sitting on this beach, and both of us were sitting there being like, "We're here because we're a band." our dumb band. Like
Yeah, like
this
we were
is-
like we were just
we're
a
paid to be here right now.
yeah, we were a tiny opener
Yeah.
on that bill, but we were still there because of it.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
We got lucky. We got to play a main stage set too.
Yeah.
Because thanks, Bad Flower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
told
Oh,
I told
yeah.
Anthony that when we saw him. I was like, "Hey, thanks for dropping out of those
Yeah,
festivals."
literally, we owe a lot to them
Honestly,
because
yeah.
they dropped out of all these festivals. There was just an open slot, and our agent just seized for these spots. The next thing we knew, we were opening main stages and being like, "This is different," you know.
Yeah. We
All right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were very lucky.
Yeah, it is really weird, you know, because we go out and do this stuff and no one knew who we were.
Mhm. But that's the
Nobody.
best.
That was-
I mean, because
Yeah.
your job is to convert
Yeah,
them,
it's to
turn them into
convert
Yeah,
fans.
it was such a funny reaction because like it was our first time ever doing that. It was like, I don't know, it's cool.
It's like the first two songs, you see people just kind of like, who the fuck are these
Yeah.
guys? And then like songs 3, 4, 5, and
My
on,
fa-
it's
my
like,
favorite
Hopefully
thing.
it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite thing was just learning like how can I make them look right away, and that's where the whole like front flips and stuff came from. Was like just trying to get people to look, you know, and be like okay.
So
know,
you need to-
something you're not going to see today.
you can do splits, right?
Yeah.
You should start doing toe jumps.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
David Lee Roth
Nice,
would
yeah.
do it.
Oh,
There's some
he's
things
crazy.
There's
yeah.
some things you got to leave out.
See, David Lee Roth, and the only other guy I found out who could do it was Michael Starr from
Yeah.
Steel Panther.
Wow.
Uh, And I asked him about it, and he goes, "Dude, you don't know how much practice it takes to be able to jump from the riser, do the splits in the air, touch your toes, and then land." He's going, "It took a long
I
time
just,
just to do that
It's
that
all,
are
all
like
about really finding my own
first 3-second opener."
form, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I could do that. I could do a lot. I could do a lot of like things like. It's sort of like taking little bits of performance art that I like and then putting my own spin on it. You know,
Mhm.
like I wanted to be like James Brown, but like more hard rock, more like thrash. Like it's sort of like it looks really chaotic, but I am in control. You know, but I want it to look that way. You know.
So do you feel like an out-of-body experience when you're up on stage?
Oh my god, completely. Yeah, I don't remember a damn thing. That's why I like watching videos afterwards. I like to see, was it good? I don't know, because it can go any which way. Sometimes things will happen and you'll get brought into reality on stage. Those are my least favorite moments, is when like
Yeah.
something happens and it takes you out of the performance for a little.
Yeah, unfortunately, it happens. It happens, every so often. Unfortunately, just because the sound might not be that good, and you can't really focus or you can't enjoy it. You can't get lost. But
When it's on though, it's on.
it's
you know?
awesome.
I know, like with Iggy Pop shows. I mean, he's all over the stage.
Yeah.
And you'll go to
Buzz
some.
and Joe.
Yeah, you'll go to like an Iggy Pop show, and you'll see like the guitarist and bassist like up against the monitors. I mean, they know what's coming
Yeah.
when the animals unleash.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys like that?
I think there's a lot more. I tried my best to stay out of their selective zones unless they know I'm coming. You know, like I want them to have their space as much as I want to have mine. And honestly, my place is right at the rim of the stage. Like I go past the PA speakers, and I want them to see all of me. You know. And that's always the thing. I'm always pushing monitors way off to the sides, and so the sound guys are like, "Don't you want them right in front?" I'm like, "I need them to see me. I need to see them, and they need to see me. They need to see that I'm one person, and not just like my knees are cut off, and I'm like, just like they'll see me kind of sliding around back and forth, but they don't see my whole show. So it's kind of thing. In the future, I want to have like on my section, I'm just gonna have like a riser so that people can see everything that I'm doing. Because. Sometimes I feel like because they're at you're at an angle, the people are down here, stage is up here,
Have your own pulpit.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Who was it? Marilyn Manson did
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
didn't he? Have his own
Yeah.
thing that would go up in the air.
Not quite like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Just more like just so I'm high enough above the speakers in front of me so people can see a bit more of what's going on, Yeah, I don't know. Like I think performance-wise, it's all just about how do we lock them in the first 5 seconds, and that's like something I think we've perfected pretty well. Yeah.
It's also it's also just like expressing the music honestly too, because it's like it looks like we're having a good time, and it like looks like it does, whatever. But it's just like how we feel about the music. Like we love it.
Mm-hmm.
We love the way that we all sound, like every other instrument that everybody's playing. Like we love the music, love everything that it sounds. It's just like how it makes us genuinely feel. Like it's just happy and it's awesome. I think
There's
it's
no better
awesome.
place in the world. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
Put me on a tropical island with like $1 billion, and I probably wouldn't be as happy as I am in that, and being lost in a set. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Performing for people who have never seen it before, and maybe giving them something that they need, you know, give them a little something, you know, because I feel like enthusiasm is a very sparse thing,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like when people see that, when they see our enthusiasm for what we do, maybe it'll
Yeah.
help them have some enthusiasm for something that they want to do, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of people are scared
Mhm.
because like they want to be passionate about something, but they don't have a lot of support.
Mm.
you
Or
know?
they want to be safe, you know, and they're afraid to jump off the cliff, so to speak, you know. You kind of have, if you want to know if you can fly, there's really only one way to find out, you know, like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what we did. I mean, when it came time to actually go out on the road and do things, it was like, all right, we're gonna literally get in this van and drive off the edge of the earth.
Yeah,
you know?
when we found out we had these amazing festival slots, we were like, okay, in a week we're gonna buy a van, buy insurance for the van, figure out how to put all of our gear in it with luggage,
Including
with no
and ourselves, yeah.
and ourselves, yeah, with no trailer. Figure out how 5 guys are gonna sleep in half of a van, technically.
Yeah.
The other
Not
half is
even-
taken up
not
by
even
all the-
half.
Yeah, maybe
A
like
quarter of a
third.
van.
Yeah, maybe a third.
Because there was all those back rows were taken up.
Yeah.
You couldn't sleep in the front.
Mhm.
If you did, it was not sleep.
Yeah.
And then there was that little section where we had the one row,
Mhm.
which was for we'd give it to Greg because Greg's huge. So we're like, Greg,
Yeah.
you could have it. And then you would have one guy here on the little row, and then you'd have a dude laying on the floor, and then the crevice in between the door and
We got creative.
Yeah, we
See,
did.
You guys are experiencing that weird transition where you're
Yeah.
going from this
Abs-
little band
Yeah.
to basically a little band with huge shows in front of you.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
And-
We played 13 festivals in a year. We played 13 festivals in a year. It
Yeah.
still blows my mind. We did Sonic Boom, Louder Than Life, Rock Allegiance, Aftershock, Shiprocked, Welcome to Rockville, Las Rageous, Carolina Rebellion, Rock on the Range, Northern Invasion, Rock USA, Cherry Festival, and Rocklahoma. All in a year. In less than a year. We did that. in less
Thankfully, for most of those, now we've had
Yeah.
a trailer,
Yes.
so we could actually
now we have this last round we got a full size one. We have a giant one now,
Mhm.
and like it's so funny seeing when you put all our stuff in there how little it truly is
It's
in the
just
sense of
dumb
this
because
giant
the old trailer was
teeny weeny.
yeah, very tiny, but it was a gift for us to borrow
Yeah.
when we need it from these amazing
Amazing
fans,
people, yeah.
Glenn and Denise Wetzel.
Yeah,
And it was about as tall as our tour manager, who's maybe like 5. No, it wasn't that much. But it was like, you know, you had
4'0".
like we're not the tallest guys in the world. We
Yeah.
had a duck,
Yeah.
so it tells you something.
Yeah.
But now we have a trailer with so much space, we don't need to do with it.
No.
Thanks, Daniel.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. We have this giant thing, and it is taking a toll on our gas mileage, which was pretty shocking. It was like, oh, it used to be like 5.5 hours of straight driving on a full tank. Now it's like 3 hours because we have to drag this behemoth behind us or something like that.
Mhm.
And it is a blessing though, because now we have the entire van to occupy. Everyone has a
Yeah.
row. Everyone gets to sleep. I
Totally.
sleep on the floor in the back. You know, I can actually get some rest
Mhm.
in that kind of environment now. Before it was like you were lucky to get a couple hours. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of pure exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just
just
legit.
being awake.
No. I still think it's so funny because we're like, how did we do that again? It's like now it's like, how do we live without this?
I know, because we were so excited to like play those festivals.
Yeah.
We
Just
literally
didn't
do
care.
anything.
We just
you know?
didn't care.
Yeah, we didn't
Remember,
care.
remember the cooler we had with the awful smell?
Oh,
That was
someone had the genius idea of
amazing.
leaving bread in the cooler. and I don't even want to talk about how bad it
Probably
smelled.
the vegan.
It was not me. I think it was our drummer, Nick. I don't remember who it
Not
was.
me.
I know it wasn't Greg.
It was it was everybody. We all made that decision.
No. I wasn't there
He's
for
just
that.
trying to blame. You weren't there for that. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
blame the guys who aren't here.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Just pick someone who's
Always
not
works
here.
out
It was
that way.
Golly's fault. Blame Golly. He wasn't even there, but this is his fault.
God.
So,
Yeah.
infinite bottle time.
What is
Oh.
that?
So basically, whiskey drinkers, when they get down to that last little bit of whiskey,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to create an infinite bottle. You dump it into your last little bit. You start building up a bottle. Because whiskey, you can start mixing,
Oh, boy.
and you get these
Oh,
different
boy.
flavors.
Wow.
Don't worry, we're not drinking it.
Oh,
Oh.
thank God.
So you guys,
Okay.
you guys get to pick your favorite whiskey from the lineup.
Oh, that's awesome.
Throw it in. You each get to do it. Throw it in a shot glass, and then you got to sign the bottle.
Oh.
All right.
okay.
And then once we
All
hit
right.
the top, we're gonna crack it open.
All right. Well, let's see. Okay, so right now, let's go down the line here.
This was the cherry ethanol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cherry liqueur.
Yeah, cherry,
lacquer.
yeah, lacquer. You could honestly probably like get a good stain out of that on some furniture.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
No.
that is a 0. I can't. I would never drink that.
So
Willingly.
off the table.
Yeah.
So we got the rye
That
for you.
pretty-
That was a good.
Okay.
That was a good rye.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm just not a fan of rye personally, so I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't do that.
I
but
think-
it's still-
Rye is like the bastard whiskey.
Yeah, I can taste it.
It's
Yeah.
like I think like a scale of 1 to 10. Where you at on that? Like a 6.
Probably a 6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Still good.
It's not unpleasant. You know, like the
Yeah.
first one was.
At least it was
Ugh.
unique.
I mean, you're gonna see my face when you watch this back. You're gonna see me like, you know, like that was true. Couldn't fake
Honestly,
that.
I would do this one.
Yep. Same here.
Just
Both of
'cause
you.
It had the best flavor and it was unique.
It was unique. It was very, very all-encompassing. That was like that's a perfect 10. I've never had a whiskey that I've loved as much as that.
Or you can sign anywhere.
This is a close second, though. I really
The
like that
Anok.
one too. Anok was good.
That one was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then load up a shot and
Alright.
dump it in.
you want to do the honors?
Sure.